Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you wherever you are in the world. Bienvenue à toutes et à tous, and welcome to The Show Must Go Online. I'm your director, Kevin V. Smith, and I'm proud to present Christopher Marlowe's Edward II tonight. The Show Must Go Online is a movement that believes in Shakespeare for everyone. In 2020, TSMGO created 40 shows, including Shakespeare's entire first folio, in chronological order. I know because I was there. The shows now have more than 250,000 views from more than 60 countries, involving over 500 actors and creatives, winning several awards and critical acclaim in the process. Tonight, we are delighted to continue this tradition with the beginning of a very special celebration, the month of Marlowe. Each Wednesday in June, starting today, we present a new and exciting production inspired by the plays of Marlowe. Tonight, I'm excited to present Edward II, a foundational queer text, an amazing piece of dramatic literature written in the 16th century that still resounds deeply in our contemporary society. It's been an absolute honor to work on this piece. Tonight's production of Edward II will start in approximately 10 minutes. While you wait, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, remembering, of course, to hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we post, and follow us at TSMG Online Live on Twitter. That's at TSMG Online Live on Twitter, or at The Show Must Go Online on Instagram and Facebook. You can also post your reactions using the hashtag Show Must Go Online. Please be aware that tonight's performance contains references to violence against women, homophobia, and noises that may be startling. And now, to introduce tonight's play, it is my pleasure to welcome to the show Dr. Harry McCarthy. Dr. Harry McCarthy is a research fellow at Jesus College in the University of Cambridge and specializes in early modern performance. He is the author of Performing Early Modern Drama Beyond Shakespeare, Edward's Boys, and his next book, Boy Actors in Early Modern England, Skill and Stagecraft in the Theatre, is forthcoming from Cambridge University Press. His work on early modern theater history and contemporary performance has appeared in journals including Early Theater, English Literary History, Shakespeare, and Shakespeare Survey. Harry, the play is Edward II, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kevin, for that kind introduction. And thanks also to Rob Miles, Emily Ingram, Matthew Rhodes, and the whole TSMGO family for inviting me to join you tonight. A warning up front that this talk, like the production that follows it, contains references to homophobia and sexual violence. So begins the month of Marlowe, and I can think of no better play with which to begin than his Edward II, first written and staged in around 1592. Marlowe, after all, was in 1593 denounced to the Privy Council for allegedly having claimed that St. John the Evangelist was bedfellow to Christ, and that he used him as the sinners of Sodoma, as well as that all they that love not tobacco and boys were fools. These utterances, though possibly fictional, have continually haunted the reception and performance of Edward II throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, which have solidified the story of the 23-year rule of a 14th century monarch as a landmark of queer literature. At the heart of Edward II, both the play and the monarch whose name it bears, is the king's relationship with his male favourite Gaveston, who had been banished from England before the play begins and is, at the outset of the action, brought forcefully back to the centre of the court. Gaveston's place at the king's side in politics, and the play tantalizingly leads us to believe in the bedroom, provides the key source of antagonism for many of the play's other characters. Edward's French queen, Isabella, whom we first encounter mourning the inevitable loss of her husband's affections, and England's barons, led by the play's antagonist, Mortimer Jr., who become increasingly and eventually murderously frustrated with Edward's unbending preoccupation with the man they refer to as his minion, a word which, in Elizabethan England, carried distinctly erotic connotations. It's worth pointing out at this stage that the play's suggestion of what we would today term a homosexual relationship between the king and Gaveston is not its only focus. The action covers the entire chronological sweep of Edward's 23-year reign, from the eve of his father's death to the aftermath of his brutal murder at the hands of his captors. In addition to its homoerotic elements, the play is deeply political, invested in feudal law and the tussle between military rule and a court-centred monarchy. Indeed, in the text, it is Gaveston's low-born status and political influence that troubled the barons more than any love interest between him and the king. One of the barons, Mortimer Senior, even goes as far as to justify the king's affections as having classical precedent, reminding his colleagues that the mightiest kings have had their minions. Great Alexander loved Hephaestion, the conquering Hercules for Hylas wept, and for Patroclus stern Achilles drooped. Edward, too, seems equally interested in heaping titles and honours upon Gaveston, and later other male favourites, as he is in showering them with kisses and caresses. It is this, at least initially, that seems to trouble Mortimer Jr. Uncle, his wanton humour grieves not me, but this I scorn, that one so basely born should by his sovereign's favour grow so pert, and riot it with the treasure of the realm, while soldiers mutiny for want of pay. But of course, the sexual is never not political, and throughout Marlowe's play, politics and erotics insistently rub against one another, often causing destruction and devastation. The play's intertwining of sex and politics is in evidence right from the play's opening lines, as Gaveston reads a letter from the newly crowned king, which recalls him from exile. My father is deceased. Come, Gaveston, and share the kingdom with thy dearest friend. Ah, words that make me surfeit with delight. What greater bliss can hap to Gaveston than live and be the favourite of a king? Sweet prince, I come. These thy amorous lines might have enforced me to have swum from France and like Leander gasped upon the land, so thou wouldst smile and take me in thy arms. The sight of London to my exiled eyes is as Elysium to a new-come soul. Not that I love the city or the men, but that it harbours him I hold so dear, the king, upon whose bosom let me die, and with the world be still at enmity. Here, Gaveston expresses the dual advantage of physical proximity to the king, political advancement, and sexual gratification. As with every other character in the play, Gaveston is not presented entirely sympathetically, and productions have to make up their mind as to whether Gaveston's affections for the king match those the king holds for him. For all its national politics, it is Edward II's exploration of male-male love and society's violent attempts to thwart and punish it that have retained Marlowe's play's position at the centre of the queer Renaissance canon. Though, and I apologise for the spoiler, Gaveston is murdered less than halfway through the play, and at least in the text, any suggestion of homophobia is arguably killed off at the same time. There has long been a tendency in scholarship and performance to de-emphasise the play's concerns with national finances, foreign invasion, and proper governance, and to home in on the sexual politics which define the king's relationship with Gaveston. Though absent for much of the play, these sexual politics make their return horrifically and homophobically in the event of the king's death, by means of a red-hot poker inserted into his anus. I should add that the play doesn't explicitly call for the murder to be carried out in this way, but it is heavily implied and almost always followed in performance. It is the play's depiction of the humiliation, ostracization, and brutalization of its queer characters that has insistently captured the scholarly and theatrical imagination. In the UK, at least, the play has been thrust into the spotlight at critical moments in the fight for gay liberation. Just 2 years after the decriminalisation of private homosexual acts in 1967, Prospect Theatre mounted a production of the play with Ian McKellen, then still firmly in the closet, in the title role. The production, whose opening performances required a police presence, was subsequently broadcast on the BBC, boasting, mistakenly it turns out, of presenting the first gay kiss on British television. I have to admit that the production's deeply homophobic depiction of stereotyped gay men has little to recommend it, but it nevertheless marks an important step in the theatre's rediscovery of historical queer identities. It is not for nothing that the queer filmmaker Derek Jarman latched onto the play at the height of the AIDS crisis, when he himself was dying of the disease, to intervene in the deeply homophobic national sentiment prevailing under Margaret Thatcher's Conservative government, which was, through negligence, effectively overseeing the deaths of thousands of gay men. In its sympathetic portrayal of Edward and Gaveston, its uncompromising depiction of police violence against LGBTQ+ individuals, and its triumphant nod towards a queer future in its rewritten ending, Jarman's film is, to my mind, the most powerful use of the play in the ongoing assertion of historic queer identities. It is more successful, certainly, than Joe Hill-Gibbons' 2013 production at the National Theatre, which, despite the director's best efforts, could not avoid being haunted by current debates surrounding the legalization of same-sex marriage in the UK, and arguably ended up replicating the homophobic distrust of the queer family, which has always hampered political progress. All this is to say that for all its queer potential, the play as written seems to provide little cause for celebration. Justice is meted out belatedly to its homophobic antagonists, and on the page, we are left with little sense that a change to the status quo has been effected. The final image of Edward's young son, the newly crowned Edward III, weeping over his father's murdered ghost, leaves us with a profound sense of injustice and loss, a sense which, in performance, can be and has been productively channeled into creative anger. In our present moment of separation from our communities, of enforced isolation, and even of moralistic distrust of contagion among non-monogamous and queer individuals, many of us will no doubt feel a newfound affinity with Edward, who throughout the play is forcibly divorced from those he loves and those like him, and who, eventually, is punished simply for being what he is. Tonight, however, we all have the opportunity to create a new community of our own, coming together across borders and individual identities to share in the queer past and look towards a queer future. Kevin, cast, and groundlings, it is a pleasure to share in this collective experience with you. I hope you enjoyed the performance.
Thank you so much, Harry, for that amazing introduction. We're so glad to have you here, and we'll have Harry back for a discussion during the interval. And now, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, the show is about to begin, so get ready to have no idea what to expect. And please enjoy Christopher Marlowe's Edward II.
J'en peux plus. J'en peux plus.
Easter season, come, Gaveston, and share the kingdom with thy dearest friend. Ces mots qui m'enivrent de délices. Puisse-t-il exister pour Gaveston d'extase plus grande que celle de vivre le favori d'un roi? Doux prince, j'accours. Ces lignes de ta main, ces lignes amoureuses m'auraient déterminé à nager depuis la France jusqu'à cette grève où, comme Léandre haletant sur la plage à l'approche de sa belle, à mon arrivée radieuse, tu m'eus pressé contre tes bras. La vue de Londres à mes yeux exilés est comme l'Élysée pour une âme à peine arrivée. Non point que j'aime cette ville et ses hommes, mais c'est qu'elle abrite celui qui m'est si cher, le roi. Au diable la haine de l'univers entier pourvu qu'on me laisse mourir contre son cœur. Mais quel besoin les peuples de l'Arctique ont-ils d'aimer la lueur des étoiles, eux pour qui le soleil brille de jour comme de nuit? Adieu, plate courbette contre des pères hautains, mes genoux ne fléchiront plus que pour le roi. Quant à la foule, qui n'est qu'étincelle étouffée dans la cendre, tanti, autant chérir l'air qui s'échappe de mes lèvres et s'envole au lointain. But how now, what are these?
Such as desire worship service.
Oh, what canst thou do?
I can ride.
Oh, but I have no horses. What art thou?
A traveller.
Oh, let me see. Thou wouldst do well to wait at my trencher and tell me lies at dinner time. And as I like your discoursing, I'll have you. And what art thou?
A soldier that had served against the Scot.
Why, there are hospitals for such as you. I have no war, and therefore, sir, be gone.
Farewell, and perish by a soldier's hand that would reward them with an hospital.
Aïe. Ces paroles m'atteignent autant qu'une oie qui se prendrait pour un porc épic et hérissant ses plumes s'imaginerait m'en percer la poitrine. Toutefois, il n'y a aucun mal à être aimable avec son prochain. Flattons ceci et laissez-le vivre avec espoir. You know that I came lately out of France, and yet I have not viewed my lord the king. If I speed well, I'll entertain you all.
We thank your worship.
Ah, I have some business. Leave me to myself.
We'll wait here about the court.
Do. Non, ceux-là ne sont pas à ma convenance. Il me faut des poètes voluptueux, de beaux esprits, des musiciens qui n'auront qu'à pincer une corde pour que le roi se plie à toutes mes fantaisies. La musique et la poésie font ses délices. Aussi, le soir, offrirai-je des masques à l'italienne, de tendres discours, des comédies, de vivants tableaux. Et le jour, lorsqu'il se perdra dans ses jardins, mes pages déguisées en nymphes et en sylphides viendront le lutiner, et mes hommes, tels des satyres broutons l'herbe des pelouses, de leurs pieds fourchus, viendront danser une ronde antique. Bientôt un jeune homme adorable, aux allures de Diane, aux cheveux flattants d'or, le doux flottement des eaux, aux bras nus, décorés de perles et de bracelets, aux mains joueuses, serrant un rameau d'olivier pour cacher ce que les hommes rêvent à voir, s'éclaboussera des eaux de la source, tandis que non loin de là, un autre éphèbe figurant Actéon épiant la nymphe se baignant sera transformé en cerf par la déesse irritée et livré à une meute de chiens enragés, agonisera lentement sous leur morsure. Tels sont les plaisirs de sa majesté. Oh, mais voici que mon seigneur et roi, accompagné des nobles, sort de la séance du Parlement, je vais me tenir à l'écart.
Lancaster.
My lord.
Le comte de Lancastre, je l'abhorre.
Will you not grant me this? In spite of them, I'll have my will, and these two Mortimers that cross me thus shall know I am displeased.
You lovers, my lord, hate Gaveston.
Ce misérable Mortimer, j'aurai sa peau.
Mine uncle here, this Earl, and I myself were sworn to your father at his death that he should ne'er return into the realm. And know, my lord, ere I will break my oath, this sword of mine that should offend your foes shall sleep within the scabbard at thy need. And underneath thy banners march who will, for Mortimer will hang his armour up.
Merdieu.
Well, Mortimer, I'll make thee rue these words. Beseems it thee to contradict thy king? Frown'st thou thereat, aspiring Lancaster? The sword shall plane the furrows of thy brows and hew these knees that are now grown so stiff. I will have Gaveston, and you shall know what danger 'tis to stand against your king.
Well done, Ned.
My lord, why do you thus incense your peers that naturally would love and honour you, but for that base and obscure Gaveston? 4 earldoms have I, besides Lancaster, Derby, Salisbury, Lincoln, Leicester. All these will I sell to give my soldiers pay, ere Gaveston shall stay within the realm. Therefore, come, expel him straight.
Barons and earls, your pride hath made me mute. But now I'll speak, and to the proof, I hope. I do remember, in my father's days, Lord Percy of the North, being highly moved, braved Marbury in presence of the king, for which, had not his highness loved him well, he should have lost his head. But with his luck, the undaunted spirit of Percy was appeased, and Marbury and he were reconciled. Yet dare you brave the king unto his face? Brother, revenge it. Let these their heads preach upon poles for trespassers of their tongue.
Oh, our heads.
Aye, yours. And therefore I would wish you grant...
Bridle thy anger, gentle Mortimer. I cannot, nor I will not. I must speak. Cousin, our hands, I hope, shall fence our heads, and strike off his that makes you threaten us. Come, uncle, let us leave the brain-sick king, and henceforth parley with our naked swords.
Wiltshire has men enough to save our heads.
Oh, Warwickshire will love him for my sake.
And northward Gaveston hath many friends. Adieu, my lord, and either change your mind or look to see the throne where you should sit to float in blood, and at thy wanton head the glozing head of thy base minion throne.
Cannot brook these haughty menaces. Am I a king and must be overruled? I'll band you with the barons and the earls, and either die or live with Gaveston.
I can no longer keep me from my lord.
Gaveston, welcome. Kiss not my hand. Embrace me, Gaveston, as I do thee. Why shouldst thou kneel? Knowst thou not who I am? Thy friend, thyself, another Gaveston? Not Hylas was more mourned of Hercules than thou hast been of me since thy exile.
And since I went from hence, no soul in hell hath felt more torment than poor Gaveston.
Ah, I know it. Brother, welcome home, my friend. Now let the treacherous Mortimers conspire, and that high-minded Earl of Lancaster. I have my wish, and that I joy thy sight. And sooner shall the sea o'erwhelm my land than shall bear the ship that shall transport thee hence. I create thee, Lord High Chamberlain, Chief Secretary to the State, and me, Earl of Cornwall, King and Lord of Man.
My lord, these titles far exceed my worth.
Brother, the least of these may well suffice for one of greater birth than Gaveston.
Cease, brother, for I cannot brook these words. Thy worth, sweet friend, is far above my gifts. Therefore, to equal it, receive my heart. If for these dignities thou be envied, I'll give thee more. For but to honor thee is Edward pleased with kingly regiment. Fearest thou thy person? Thou shalt have a guard. Wantest thou gold? Go to my treasury. Wouldst thou be loved and feared? Receive my seal. Save or condemn, and in our name command whatso thy mind affects or fancy likes.
It shall suffice me to enjoy your love, which whiles I have. I think myself as great as Caesar riding in the Roman street with captive kings at his triumphant car.
Whither goes my lord of Coventry so fast?
Celebrate your father's execution. But is that wicked Gaveston returned?
Aye, priest, and lives to be revenged on thee that wert the only cause of his exile.
'Tis true, and but for reverence of these robes, thou shouldst not plod 1 foot beyond this place.
I did no more than I was bound to do. And Gaveston, unless thou be reclaimed, as then I did incense the Parliament, so will I now, and thou shalt back to France.
Saving your reverence, you must pardon me.
Throw off his golden mitre, rend his stole, and in the channel christen him anew.
Oh, brother, lay not violent hands on him, for he'll complain unto the see of Rome.
Let him complain unto the sea of hell. I'll be revenge on him for exile.
No, spare his life, but seize upon his goods. Be thou Lord Bishop, and receive his rents, and make him serve thee as thy chaplain. I give him thee here. Use him as thou wilt.
Oh, he shall to prison, and there die in bolt.
Aye, to the Tower, the Fleet, or where thou wilt.
For this offence, be thou accursed of God!
Who's there? Convey this priest to the Tower. Bring thee safe again.
What should a priest do with so fair a house? A prison may best beseem his holiness.
'Tis true. The bishop is in the tower, and goods and body given to Gaveston.
Will they tyrannize upon the church? Wicked king, accursed Gaveston, this ground that is corrupted with their steps shall be their timeless sepulchre. Oh my!
Let that peevish Frenchman guard him sure, unless his breast be sword-proof, he shall die.
Why droops the Earl of Lancaster?
Wherefore is Guy of Warwick discontent?
That villain Gaveston is made an Earl!
And besides, Lord Chamberlain of the realm and Secretary and Lord of
He may not, nor will not suffer this.
Post we not from hence to levy men.
My Lord of Cornwall now at every word, and happy is the man who he vouchsafes for veiling of his bonnet one good look. Thus, arm in arm, the king and he doth march. Nay, more, the guard upon his lordship waits, and all the court begins to flatter him.
Thus, leaning on the shoulder of the king, he nods and scorns and smiles at those that pass.
Doth no man take exception at the slave?
All stomach him, but none dare speak a word.
That bewrays, that baseness, Lancaster, or all the earls and barons of my mind will hail him from the bosom of the king, and at the court gate hang the peasant, who's swollen with venom of ambitious pride, will be the ruin of the realm and us.
Now here comes my Lord of Canterbury's grace.
His countenance bewrays he is displeased.
First were his sacred garments rent and torn, then laid they violent hands upon him. Next, himself imprisoned and his goods seized. This certify the Pope. Away, take horse.
My lord, will you take arms against the king?
What need I? God himself is up in arms when violence is offered to the church.
Then will you join with us that be his peers to banish or behead that Gaveston?
What else, my lords? For it concerns me dear. The bishopric of Coventry is his.
Madam, whither walks your majesty so fast?
forest, gentle Mortimer, to live in grief and baleful discontent, for now my lord the king regards me not, but dotes on the love of Gaveston. He clasps his cheeks and hangs about his neck, smiles in his face and whispers in his ears, and when I come, he frowns, as who should think of whether thou wilt, seeing I have Gaveston.
Is it not strange that he is thus bewitched?
Madam, return unto the court again. That sly, invigiling Frenchman will exile, or lose our lives. And yet, ere that day come, the king shall lose his crown, for we have power, and courage too, to be revenged at full.
Yet lift not your swords against the king.
No, but we will lift Gaveston from hence.
And war must be the means, or he'll stay still.
Then let him stay, for rather than my lord shall be oppressed with civil mutinies, I will endure a melancholy life and let him frolic with his minion.
My lords, to ease all this, but hear me speak. We and the rest that are his counselors will meet and with a general consent confirm his banishment with our hands and seal.
What we confirm the king will frustrate.
Then may we lawfully revolt from him.
But say, my lord, where shall this meeting be?
At the new temple.
Content.
And in the meantime, I'll entreat you all to cross to Lambeth and there stay with me.
Come then, let's away.
Madam, farewell.
Farewell, sweet Mortimer, and for my sake forbear to levy arms against the king.
Aye, if words will serve. If not, I must.
Edmund, the mighty prince of Lancaster that hath more earldoms that an ass can bear, and both the Mortimers, two goodly men, with Guy of Warwick, their doubted knight, are gone towards Lambeth. There, let them remain.
Here is the form of Gaveston's exile. May it please your lordship to subscribe your name?
Give me the paper.
Quick, quick, my lord, I long to write my name.
But I long more to see him banished hence.
The name of Mortimer shall fright the king, unless he be declined from that base peasant.
What? Are you moved that Gaveston sits here? It is our pleasure. We will have it so.
Your grace doth well to place him by your side, for nowhere else the new Earl is so safe.
What man of noble birth could brook this sight? See what a scornful look the peasant casts.
Can kingly lions fawn on creeping ants?
Ignoble vassal that, like Phaeton, aspires unto the guidance of the sun.
Their downfall is at hand. Their force is down. We will not thus be faced and overpeered.
Lay hands on that traitor Mortimer!
Lay hands on that traitor Gaveston!
Is this the duty that you owe your king?
We know our duties. Let him know his peers.
We are no
Say or ye
traitors.
shall die.
We are no traitors. Therefore, threaten not.
No, threaten not, my lord, but pay them home. Were I a king...
Oh, villain! Wherefore talkest thou of a king that hardly art a gentleman by birth?
Were he a peasant being my minion, I'll make the proudest of you stoop to him.
My lord, you may not thus disparage us. Away, I say, with hateful Gaveston.
And with the Earl of Kent that favours him.
Nay then, lay violent hands upon your king. Here, Mortimer, sit thou on Edward's throne. Warwick and Lancaster, wear you my crown. A king thus overruled as I.
Learn then to rule us better, and the realm.
What we have done, our heart blood shall maintain.
Think you that we can brook this upstart pride?
Anger and wrathful fury stops my speech.
Why are you moved? Be patient, my lord, and see what we, your counselors, have done.
My lords, now let us all be resolute, and either have our wills or lose our lives.
Meet you for this, proud, overbearing Piers. Ere my sweet Gaveston shall part from thee, this isle shall fleet upon the ocean and wander to the unfrequented Indie.
You know that I am legate to the Pope on your allegiance to the see of Rome. Subscribe as we have done to his exile.
Curse him if he refuse, and then may we depose him and elect another king.
Aye, there it goes. But yet I will not yield. Curse me, depose me, do the worst you can.
Then linger not, my lord, but do it straight.
Remember how the bishop was abused. Either banish him that was the cause thereof, or I will presently discharge these lord of duty and allegiance due to thee.
Puts me not to threat, I must speak fair. The legate of the Pope will be obeyed. My lord, you shall be Chancellor of the realm. Thou, Lancaster, High Admiral of our fleet. Young Mortimer and his uncle shall be earls. And you, Lord Warwick, President of the North. And thou of Wales. If discontent you not, make several kingdoms of this monarchy, and share it equally amongst you all, so I may have some nook or corner left to frolic with my dearest Gaveston.
Nothing shall alter us. We are resolved.
Come, subscribe.
Why should you love him, whom the world hates so?
Because he loves me more than all the world. None but rude and savage-minded men would seek the ruin of my Gaveston. You that be noble-born should pity him.
You that are princely born should shake him off. For shame, subscribe, and let the loan depart.
Urge him, my lord.
Are you content to banish him the realm?
I see I must, and therefore I'm content. Instead of ink, I'll write it with my tears.
The king is lovesick for his minion.
It's done. And now, accursed end, fall off.
Give it me. I'll have it published in the streets.
I'll see him presently dispatched away.
Now is my heart at ease.
And so is mine.
This will be good news to the common sort.
Be it or no, he shall not linger here.
Fast they run to banish him I love. They would not stir were it to do me good. Why should a king be subject to a priest, proud Rome, that had just such imperial grooms? For these thy superstitious taper lights, wherewith thy anti-Christian churches blaze, I'll fire thy crazed buildings, and enforce the papal towers to kiss the lonely ground, with slaughtered priests to make Tiber's channels swell, and bank strays higher with their sepulchres. As for the Piers that back the clergy thus, if I be king, not one of them shall live.
My lord, I hear it whispered everywhere that I am banished and must fly the land.
It's true, sweet Gaveston. Oh, were it false, the legate of the Pope will have it so. And thou must hence, or I shall be deposed. But I will reign to be revenged on them, and therefore, sweet friend, take it patiently. Live where thou wilt, I'll send thee gold enough, and long thou shalt not stay, or if thou dost, I'll come to thee. My love shall ne'er decline.
Is all my hope turned to this hell of grief?
Rend not my heart with thy too piercing words. Thou from this land, I from myself am banished.
To go from hence grieves not poor Gaveston, but to forsake you, in whose gracious looks the blessedness of Gaveston remains, for nowhere else seeks he felicity.
And only this torments my wretched soul, that whether I will or no, thou must depart. Be governor of Ireland in my stead, and there abide till fortune call thee home. Here, take my picture, and let me wear thine. Oh, might I keep thee here as I do this. Happy were I, but now most miserable.
'Tis something to be pitied of a king.
Thou shalt not hence shall hide thee, Gaveston.
I shall be found, and then 'twill grieve me more.
Kind words and mutual talk makes our grief greater. Therefore, with dumb embracement, let us part. Stay, Gaveston, I cannot leave thee thus.
For every look my lord drops down a tear. Seeing I must go, do not renew my sorrow.
But time is little that thou hast to stay, and therefore, give me leave to look my fill. Come, sweet friend, I'll bear thee on thy way.
The Piers will frown.
I pass not for their anger. Come, let's go. Oh, that we might as well return as go.
Whither goes my lord?
Fawn not on me, French strumpet! Get thee gone!
On whom but on my husband should I fawn?
On Mortimer! With whom, and gentle queen, I say no more.
In saying this, thou wrongest me, Gaveston. Is it not enough that thou corrupts my lord, and art a bawd to his affections, but thou must call mine honour thus in question?
I meant not so. Your grace must pardon me.
Thou art too familiar with that Mortimer, and by thy means is Gaveston exiled. But I would wish thee reconciled, the lords, or thou shalt ne'er be reconciled to me.
Your highness knows it lies not in my power.
Away then, touch me not! Come, Gaveston.
Misérable! C'est toi qui me voles, mon seigneur!
Non, c'est vous qui me volez, mon seigneur.
Speak not unto her, let her droop and pine.
Wherein, my lord, have I deserved these words? Witness the tears that Isabella sheds. Witness this heart that sigh for thee breaks. How dear, my lord, is to poor Isabella.
And witness heaven how dear thou art to me. There weep. For till my Gaveston be repealed, assure thyself thou comest not in my sight.
Oh, misérable reine, on s'aboie. Si seulement, alors que de ma douce France sur ce navire je m'éloignais, cette ensorceleuse de Circé, divagant sur les vagues, m'avait transfigurée. Si au jour de mes noces, la coupe d'Hyménée avait été emplie de poison meurtrier, si ses bras qui m'enlaçaient le cou avaient pu m'étrangler, que je ne fusse pas en vie pour devoir regarder mon seigneur le roi m'abandonner ainsi. À l'exemple de la véhémente Junon, je remplirai le monde des funèbres échos de mes plaintes et de mes soupirs. Car jamais Jupiter ne s'enticha plus passionnément de Ganymède que mon époux, de ce maudit Gaveston. Hélas, mes lamentations exaspéraient encore sa fureur. Il me fallut faire entendre raison, être aimable avec lui, user de mon influence et faire revenir Gaveston. Mais ce faisant, il continuera à s'infatuer de Gaveston. Mais quoi qu'il arrive, je serai à jamais misérable.
Look, where the sister of the King of France sits wringing of her hands and beats her breast.
The king, I fear, hath ill entreated her.
Hard is the heart that injures such a saint.
I know. 'Tis long of Gaveston she weeps.
Why? He is gone.
Madam, how fares your grace?
Oh, Mortimer, now breaks the king's hate forth, and he confessed that he loves me not.
Cry quittance, madam, then, and love not him.
No, rather will I die 1,000 deaths. And yet I love in vain. He'll never love me.
Fear ye not, madam. Now his minion's gone, his wanton humour will be quickly left.
Oh, never, Lancaster. I am enjoined to sue upon you all for his repeal. This wills my lord, and this must I perform, or else be banished from his highness' presence.
For his repeal? Madam, he comes not back, well, unless the sea cast up his shipwrecked body.
And to behold so sweet a sight as that, there's none here but would run his horse to death.
But, madam, would you have us call him home?
Aye, Mortimer, for till he be restored, the angry king hath banished me to court, and therefore as thou lovest and tenderest me, be thou my advocate unto these peers.
What? Would you have me plead for Gaveston?
Plead for him he that will, I am resolved.
And so am I. My lord, dissuade the queen.
Oh, Lancaster, let him dissuade the king, for 'tis against my will he should return.
Then speak not for him. Let the peasant go.
'Tis for myself I speak, and not for him.
No speaking will prevail, and therefore cease.
Fair queen, forbear to angle for the fish which, being caught, strikes him that takes it dead. I mean that vile torpedo Gaveston, that now I hope floats on the Irish seas.
Sweet Mortimer, sit down by me a while, and I will tell thee reasons of such weight as thou wilt soon subscribe to his repeal.
It is impossible. But speak your mind.
Then thus, but none shall hear it but ourselves.
My lords, albeit the Queen win, Mortimer, will you be resolute and hold with me?
Not I against my nephew.
You're not. The Queen's words cannot alter him.
No. Do but mark how earnestly she pleads.
And see how coldly his looks make denial.
She smiles. Now for my life, his mind is changed.
I'll rather lose his friendship I than grant.
Necessity, it must be so. My lords, that I abhor base Gaveston, I hope your honours make no question. And therefore, though I plead for his repeal, 'tis not for his sake, but for our avail. Nay, for the realm's behoof, and for the king's.
Fie, Mortimer, dishonour not thyself. Can this be true? 'Twas good to banish him, and is this true, to call him home again? Such reasons make white black and dark night day.
My lord of Lancaster, mark the respect.
In no respect can contraries be true.
Good, my lord. Hear what he can allege.
All that he speaks is nothing. We are resolved.
Do you not wish that Gaveston were dead?
I would he were.
Why, then, my lord, give me but leave to speak.
Nephew, do not play the sophister.
This which I urge is of a burning zeal, to mend the king, and do our country good. Know you not Gaveston hath store of gold, which may in Ireland purchase him such friends as he will front the mightiest of us all? And whereas he shall live and be beloved, 'tis hard for us to work his overthrow.
Mark you but that, my lord of Lancaster.
But were he here, detested as he is, how easily might some base slave be suborned to greet his lordship with a poniard, and so much as blame the murderer, but rather praise him for that brave attempt, and in the chronicle enroll his name for purging the realm of such a plague.
He saith true.
Aye, but how chanced this was not done before?
Because, my lords, it was not thought upon. Nay, more, when he shall know it lies in us to banish him and then to call him home, to make him veil the top flag of his pride, and fear to offend the meanest nobleman.
But how, if you do not, nephew?
Then may we with some colour rise in arms, for howsoever we have borne it out, 'tis treason to be up against the king. So we shall have the people of our side, which for his father's sake lean to the king, but cannot brook a night-grown mush-rump, such a one as my lord of Cornwall is, should bear us down of the nobility. And when the commons and the nobles join, 'tis not the king can buckler Gaveston. We'll pull him from the strongest hold he hath. My lords, if to perform this I be slack, think me as base a groom as Gaveston.
On that condition, Lancaster will grant.
And so will Pembroke and I.
And I.
In this I count me highly gratified, and Mortimer will rest at your command.
And with this, when this favour Isabel forgets, let her live abandoned and forlorn. But see, in happy time, my lord the king, having brought the Earl of Cornwall on his way, is new returned. This news will glad him much. Yet not as much as me. I love him more than he can Gaveston. Would he love me but half so much, then were I treble blessed.
Gone, and for his absence thus I mourn. Did never sorrow go so near my heart as doth the want of my sweet Gaveston. If my crown's revenue bring him back, I would freely give it to his enemies and think I gained, having bought so dear a friend.
Hark, how he harps upon his minions.
My heart is as an anvil unto sorrow, which beats upon it like the Cyclops hammers. And when the noise turns up my giddy brain and makes me frantic for my Gaveston, that some bloodless fury rose from hell, and with my kingly scepter struck me dead when I was forced to leave my Gaveston.
Diablo, what passions call you these?
My gracious lord, I come to bring you news.
That you have parleyed with your Mortimer?
That Gaveston, my lord, shall be repealed.
Repealed? The news is too sweet to be true.
Will you love me if you find it so?
If it be so, what will not Edward do?
For Gaveston, but not for Isabella.
For thee, fair queen, if thou lovest Gaveston, I'll hang a golden tongue about thy neck, seeing thou hast pleaded with so good success.
No other jewels hang about my neck than these, my lord. Nor let me have more well than I may fetch from this rich treasury. Oh, how a kiss revives poor Isabella.
Once more receive my hand, and let this be a secret marriage twixt thyself and me.
And may it prove more happy than the first. Oh, my gentle lord, bespeak these nobles fair that wait attendance for a gracious look, and on their knees salute your majesty.
Courageous Lancaster, embrace thy king. And as gross vapors perish by the sun, even so let hatred with thy sovereign smile. Livest thou with me as my companion?
This salutation overjoys my heart.
Warwick shall be my chiefest counsellor. His silver hairs will more adorn my court than gaudy silks or rich embroidery. Chide me, sweet Warwick, if I go astray.
Slay me, my lord, when I offend your grace.
In solemn triumphs and in public shows, Pembroke shall bear the sword before the king.
And with this sword, Pembroke will fight for you.
But wherefore walks young Mortimer aside? Be thou commander of our royal fleet, or if that lofty office like thee not, I make thee here Lord Marshal of the realm.
My lord, I'll marshal so your enemies as England shall be quiet, and you safe.
And as for you, Lord Mortimer of Chirk, whose great achievements in our foreign war deserves no commonplace nor mean reward, be you the general of the levied troops that now are ready to assail the Scots.
In this your grace hath highly honoured me, for with my nature war doth suit best agree.
Now is the King of England rich and strong, having the love of his renowned peers.
Aye, Isabel, ne'er was my heart so light. Clerk of the Crown, direct our warrant forth for Gaveston to Ireland. Beaumont, fly, as fast as Iris or Jove's Mercury.
It shall be done, my gracious lord.
Lord Mortimer, we leave you to your charge. Now let us in and feast it royally. Against our friend the Earl of Cornwall comes, we'll have a general Tilton tournament, and then his marriage shall be solemnized. For wot you not that I have made him sure unto our cousin the Earl of Gloucester's heir?
That's news we hear, my lord.
That day, if not for him, yet for my sake, who in the triumph will be challenger, spare no cost, for we will requite your love.
In this, your highness shall command us.
Thanks, gentle Warwick. Come, let's in and revel.
Nephew, I must to Scotland. Thou stayest here. Leave now to pose thyself against the king. Thou seest by nature he is mild and calm, and seeing his mind so dotes on Gaveston, let him without controlment have his way. The mightiest of kings have had their minions. Great Alexander loved Hephaestion, and the conquering Hercules for Hylas wept, and for Patroclus stern Achilles drooped. And not only kings, but wise men. The Roman Tully loved Octavius grave Socrates, wild Alcibiades. Then let his grace, whose youth is flexible, and promiseth as much as we can wish, freely enjoy that vain, light-headed Earl, for riper years will wean him from such toys.
Uncle! His wanton humour grieves not me. But this I scorn, that one so basely born should by his sovereign's favour grow so pert, and riot it with the treasure of the realm, while others walk below the king, and he from out a window laugh at such as we, and flout our train, and jest at our attire. Uncle, 'tis this that makes me impatient.
But nephew, now you see the king is changed.
Then so am I, and live to do him service. But whilst I have a sword, a hand, a heart, I will not yield to any such upstart. You know my mind. Come, uncle, let's away.
Spencer, seeing that our lord the Earl of Gloucester's dead, which of the nobles dost thou mean to serve?
Not Mortimer, nor any of his kind, because he and the king are enemies. The liberal Earl of Cornwall is the man on whose good fortune Spencer's hopes depends.
What mean you then, to be his follower?
No, his lover. For he loves me well, and once preferred me to the king.
But he is banished. There's small hope of him.
No, I, Baldock, for there is, see that he will come back. I heard, and then a letter, that a friend told me in secrecy that he's repealed and sent for back again. And even now a post came from the court with letters to Our Lady from the king. And as she read, she smiled, which makes me think it is about her lover Gaveston.
'Tis like enough, for since he was exiled, she neither walks abroad nor comes inside. But I had thought the match had been broke off, and that his banishment had changed her mind.
Our Lady's first love is not wavering. My life for thine, she will have Gaveston.
Then hope I by her means to be preferred, having read unto her since she was a child.
Then, Baldock, you must cast that scholar off, and learn to court it like a gentleman. 'Tis not a black coat and a little band, a velvet caped coat faced before with zerg, and smelling to a nosegay all the day, or holding a napkin in your hand, or saying a long grace at a table's end, or making low legs to a nobleman, or looking downward with your eyelids closed and saying, truly, and may it please your honour, can get you any favour with great men. You must be bold, proud, pleasant, resolute, and now and then stab as occasion serves.
Spencer, thou knowest I hate such formal toys and use them out of mere hypocrisy. Mine old lord, whilst he lived, was so precise that he would take exceptions at my buttons, and being like Pin's head, playing me for the bigness, which made me curate-like in mine attire, though inwardly licentious enough and apt for any kind of villainy. Leave off this jesting, here my lady comes.
Grief for his exile was not so much as the joy of his returning home. This letter came from my sweet Gaveston. What needst thou, love, thus to excuse thyself? I know thou couldst not come and visit me. I will not long be from thee, though I die. This argues the entire love of my lord. When I forsake thee, death seize upon my heart. But stay thee
here, where Gaveston shall sleep. Now to the letter of my lord the king. He wills me to repair unto the court and meet my Gaveston. Why do I stay? That he talks this of my marriage day. Who's that?
Baldock, see that my coach be ready. I must hence.
It shall be done, madame.
And meet me at the park, Pearl, presently. Spencer, stay you and bear me company, for I have joyful news to tell thee of. My Lord of Cornwall is coming over and will be at the court as soon as we.
I knew the king would have him back again.
If all things sort out as I hope they will, thy service, Spencer, shall be thought upon.
I humbly thank your ladyship.
Come, lead the way. I long till I am there.
Wind is good. I wonder why he stays. I fear me he is racked upon the sea.
Look, Lancaster, how passionate he is. And still his mind runs on his minion.
My lord!
How now, what news? Has Gaveston arrived?
Nothing but Gaveston. What means your grace? You have matters of more weight to think upon. The King of France sets foot in Normandy.
A trifle. We'll expel him as we please.
Husband, be content. They all love you.
They love me not that hate my Gaveston.
If in his absence thus he favours him, what will he do when as he shall be present?
That shall we see. Look where his lordship comes.
Gaveston, oh, welcome to Tynemouth, welcome to thy friend. Thy absence made me droop and pine away, for as the lovers of fair Danae, when she was locked up in a brazen tower, desired her more, and waxed outrageous, so did it fare with me. And now thy sight is far sweeter than was thy parting, hence bitter and irksome to my sobbing heart.
Lord and King, which preventeth mine. Yet have I words left to express my joy. Shepherd nipped with biting winter's rage frolics not more than to see the painting spring than I do to behold your majesty.
Will none of you salute my Gaveston?
Salute him! Yes! Welcome, Lord Chamberlain!
Welcome is the good Earl of Cornwall.
Welcome, Lord Governor of the Isle of Man.
Welcome, Master Secretary.
Brother, do you hear them?
Still will these earls and barons use me thus.
My lord, I cannot brook these injuries.
Poor soul, when these begin to jar.
Return it to their throats, I'll be thy warrant.
Peas, leaden earls, that glory in your birth. Go sit at home and eat your tenants' beef, and come not here to scoff at Gaveston, whose mounting thoughts did never creep so low as to bestow a look on such as you.
Yet I disdain not to do this for you!
Treason, treason, where's the traitor?
Here!
Convey hence Gaveston, they'll murder him!
The life of thee shall solve this foul disgrace!
Villain! Thy life, unless I miss mine aim!
Piers, Mortimer, what hast thou done?
No more than I would answer, were he slain.
Yes, more than thou canst answer, though he live. Dear shall you both abide this righteous deed. Out of my presence! Come not near the court!
I'll not be barred the court of Gaveston.
We'll hail him by the ears and to the block.
Look to your own heads, his is sure enough.
Oh, look to your own crown if you back him thus.
Warwick, these words do ill beseem thy years.
Nay, all of them conspire to cross me thus. But if I live, I'll tread upon their heads that think with high looks thus to tread me down. Come, Edmund, let's away and levy men. 'Tis war that must abate these barons' pride.
Now, let's to our castles, for the king is moved.
Moved may he be, and perish in his wrath.
Cousin, it is no dealing with him now. He means to make us stoop by force of arms, and therefore let us jointly here protest to persecute that Gaveston to the death.
By heaven, the abject villain shall not live.
I'll have his blood, or die in seeking it.
Like oath Pembroke takes.
And so doth Lancaster. Now, send our heralds to defy the king and make the people swear to put him down.
Letters! From whence?
From Scotland, my lord.
Why, how now, cousin? How fares all our friends?
Mine uncle's taken captive by the Scots.
We'll have him ransom, man. Be of good cheer.
They ransom his rights of £5,000. Who should defray the money but the king, seeing he is taken prisoner in his wars? I'll to the king.
Do, cousin, and I'll bear thee company.
In the meantime, my lord of Pembroke and myself will to Newcastle here and get ahead.
About it then. We will follow you.
Be resolute and full of secrecy.
I warrant you.
Cousin, and if you will not ransom him, I'll thunder such a peal into his ears as never subject did unto his king.
Content. I'll bear my part. Hello! Who's there?
Marry, such a guard as this doth well.
Lead on the way.
Whither will your lordships?
Whither else but to the king?
His Highness is disposed to be alone.
Why, so he may, but we will speak to him.
You may not, my lord!
May we not?
No, what noise is this? Who have we here? Is it you?
Nay, stay, my lord. I come to bring you news. Mine uncle's taken prisoner by the Scots.
Then ransom him.
'Twas in your wars. You should ransom him.
And you shall ransom him, or else...
What, Mortimer, you will not threaten him.
Quiet yourself. You shall have the broad seal to gather for him throughout the realm.
Your minion Gaveston hath taught you this.
My lord, the family of the Mortimers are not so poor, but would they sell their land, 'twould levy men enough to anger you. We never beg, but use such prayers as these.
Shall I still be haunted thus?
Nay. Now you're here alone, I'll speak my mind.
And so will I. And then, my lord, farewell.
The idle triumphs, masks, lascivious shows, and prodigal gifts bestowed on Gaveston have drawn thy treasury dry and made thee weak. The murmuring commons overstretched break.
Look for rebellion. Look to be deposed. Thy garrisons are beaten out of France, and lame and poor lie groaning at the gates.
The haughty Dane commands the narrow seas, while in the harbour ride thy ships unrigged.
What foreign prince sends thee ambassadors?
Who loves thee but a sort of flatterers?
Thy gentle queen, sole sister to Valois, complains that thou hast left her all forlorn.
Thy court is naked, being bereft of those that make a king seem glorious to the world. I mean the peers whom they shouldst love dearly love, libels are cast against thee in the street, ballads and rhymes made of thy overthrow.
The northern borderers, seeing their houses burnt, their wives and children slain, run up and down, cursing the name of thee and Gaveston.
When wert thou in the field with banner spread? But once! And then thy soldiers marked like players with garish robe, not armour, and thyself, bedaubed with gold, rode laughing at the rest, nodding and shaking of thy spangled crest, where women's favours hung like labels down. Wigmore shall fly to set my uncle free.
And when 'tis gone, our sword shall purchase more. If ye be moved, revenge it, as you can. Look next to see us with our ensign spread.
Swelling heart for very anger breaks. How oft have I been baited by these peers that dare not be revenged, for their power is great. Yet shall the crowing of these cockerels affright a lion. Edward, unfold thy paws, and let their lives' blood slake thy fury's hunger. If I be cruel and grow tyrannous, now let them think themselves, and rue too late.
My lord, I see your love to Gaveston will be the ruin of the realm and you. For now the wrathful nobles threaten wars. And therefore, brother, banish him forever.
Art thou an enemy to my Gaveston?
Aye. And it grieves me that I favoured him.
Traitor, be gone! Wind thou with Mortimer!
So will I, rather than with Gaveston.
Out of my sight, and trouble me no more!
No marvel though thou scorn thy noble peers when I, thy brother, am rejected thus.
Away! Poor Gaveston, that has no friend but me. Do what they can. We'll live in Tynemouth here. And so I walk with him about the walls. What care I though the girls begirt us round? Here comes she that is cause of all these jars.
My lord, 'tis thought the earls are up in arms.
Aye, and 'tis likewise thought you favour 'em.
Thus do you still suspect me without cause?
We uncle, speak more kindly to the queen.
My lord, dissemble with her, speak her fair.
Pardon me, sweet. I forgot myself.
Your pardon is quickly got of Isabella.
The younger Mortimer has grown so brave that to my face he threatens civil wars.
Why do you not commit him to the tower?
I dare not, for the people love him well.
Why then we'll have him privily made away?
Would Lancaster and he had both caroused a bowl of poison to each other's health. But let them go. And tell me, what are these?
Two of my father's servants whilst he lived. May it please your grace to entertain them now.
Tell me, where wast thou born? What is thine arms?
My name is Baldock, my gentry. I fix from Oxford, not from Heraldry.
The fitter art thou, Baldock, for my turn. Wait on me, and I'll see thou shalt not want.
I humbly thank your majesty.
Knowest thou him, Gaveston?
Aye, my lord. His name is Spencer. He is well allied. For my sake, let him wait upon your grace. Scarce shall you find a man of more desert.
Then, Spencer, wait upon me. For his sake, I'll grace thee with a higher style ere long.
No greater titles happen unto me than to be favoured of your majesty.
Cousin, this day shall be your marriage feast. And Gaveston, think that I love thee well. To wed thee to our niece, the only heir unto the Earl of Gloucester, late deceased.
I know, my lord, many will stomach me, but I respect neither their love nor hate.
The headstrong barons shall not limit me. He that I list to favour shall be great. Come, let's away. And when the marriage ends, have at the rebels and their accomplices.
My lords, of love to this our native land, I come to join with you and leave the king. And in your quarrel and the realm's behoof will be the first that shall adventure life.
I fear me you are sent of policy, to undermine us with a show of love.
He is your brother. Therefore have we cause to cast worst Doubt of your revolt.
Mine honour shall be hostage of my truth. If that will not suffice, farewell, my lords.
Say, Edmund, never was Plantagenet false to his word, and therefore trustworthy.
But what's the reason you should leave him now?
I have informed the Earl of Lancaster.
And it sufficeth. Now, my lords, know this, that Gaveston is secretly arrived, and here in Tynemouth frolics with the king. Let us, with these our followers, scale the walls and suddenly surprise them unawares.
I'll give the onset.
And I follow thee.
Drums! Strike! Alarum! Raise them from their spot, and ring aloud the knell of Gaveston!
None be so hardy as to touch the king, but neither spare you Gaveston nor his friends!
Well, tell me, Spencer, where is Gaveston?
I fear he is slain, my gracious lord.
No, here he comes. Now let them spoil and kill. Fly, fly, my lords, the earls have got the hold. Take shipping and away to Scarborough. Spencer and I will post away by land.
Oh, stay, my lord, they will not injure you.
I will not trust them. Gaveston, away.
Farewell, my lord.
Lady, farewell.
Farewell, sweet uncle, until we meet again.
Farewell, sweet Gaveston, and farewell, niece.
No farewell to poor Isabella, thy queen?
Yes, yes, for Mortimer, your lover's sake.
Heavens can witness, I love none but you. De mes étreintes, c'est ainsi qu'il s'arrache. Si mes bras pouvaient seulement en cindre cette île, que je puisse où que je sois le tirer à moi. Si les larmes qui ruissellent de mes yeux avaient la vertu d'amollir son cœur de pierre, pour que, réunis, plus rien ne va nous séparer.
I wonder how he escaped.
Who's this? The Queen.
I, Mortimer, the miserable queen, whose pining heart her inward sighs have blasted, and continual mourning wasted. Be content, or tired with hailing of my lord from Gaveston, from wicked Gaveston, all in vain. For when I speak him fair, he turns away and smiles upon his...
Cease to lament and tell us, where's the king?
What would you with the king? Is it him you seek?
No, madam, but that cursed Gaveston, far be it from the thought of Lancaster to offer violence to his sovereign. We would but rid the realm of Gaveston. Tell us where he remains, and he shall die.
He's gone by water onto Scarborough. Pursue him quickly, and he cannot escape. The king hath left him, and his train is small.
Lost no time, Sir Lancaster. Let's march.
How comes it the king and he parted?
This your army, going several ways, might be of lesser force, and with the power that he intended presently to raise, be easily suppressed. Therefore be gone.
Here in the river rides a Flemish hoy. Let's all aboard and follow him amain.
The wind that bears him hence will fill our sails. Come, come aboard. 'Tis but an hour's sailing.
Madam, stay you within this castle here.
No, Mortimer. I'll to my lord the king.
Nay, rather sail with us to Scarborough.
You know the king is so suspicious as if he hear I have but talked with you, mine honour will be called in question. And therefore, gentle Mortimer, be gone.
Madam, I cannot stay to answer you, but think of Mortimer as he deserves.
Tu as tellement de mérite, mon doux Mortimer. Qu'Isabelle pourrait vivre avec toi à jamais. J'ai cherché en vain l'amour auprès d'Édouard, dont les yeux ne regardent personne d'autre que Gaveston. Et pourtant, à nouveau, je vais l'importuner de mes suppliques. Oh. S'il reste froid et demeure insensible, mon fils et moi, nous partirons pour la France. Et à mon frère le roi, j'irai me plaindre de la façon dont Gaveston m'a volé son amour. Mais pourtant, j'espère que mes malheurs cesseront et qu'en ce jour béni, Gaveston se fera trucider.
J'ai réussi à m'échapper à vos pattes. Ah, je n'ai que faire de vos menaces, de vos cris d'alerte et de votre chasse à l'homme. Et bien qu'éloigné des yeux du roi, Édouard, Pierre de Gaveston respire. Il respire encore dans l'espoir de revoir bientôt son bien-aimé seigneur et roi, contre lequel se sont ligués tous ces sauvages.
Upon him, soldiers! Take away his weapons!
Thou proud disturber of thy country's peace, corrupter of thy king, cause of these broils base flatterer, yield! And were it not for shame and dishonour to a soldier's name, upon my weapon's point here shouldst thou fall and welter in thy gore!
Monster of men! That like the Greekish strumpet trained to arms and bloody wars, so many valiant knights look for no other fortune, wretch, than death. King Edward is not here to buckler thee.
Lancaster, what talk'st thou to the slave? Go, soldiers, take him hence, for by my sword his head shall off. Gaveston, short warning shall serve thy turn. It is our country's cause that he severally will execute upon thy person. Hang him at a bow.
Oh, my lord!
Soldiers, have him away. But for thou wert the favourite of a king, thou shalt have so much honour at our hands.
I thank you all, my lord. Then I perceive that hitting is one and hanging the other, and death is all.
Now, my lord of Arundel.
My lords, King Edward greets you all by me.
Yeah, Arundel, say a message.
His Majesty, hearing that you had taken Gaveston, entreateth you by me, yet but he may see him before he dies. For why he says and sends you word, he knows that die he shall. And if you gratify his grace so far, he will be mindful of the courtesy.
How now?
Renowned Edward, how thy name revives poor Gaveston.
No, it needeth not. Arundel, we will gratify the king in other matters. He must pardon us in this. Soldiers, away with him.
Why, my lord of Warwick, will not these delays beget my hopes? I know it, my lords, this life you aim at, yet grant King Edward this.
Shalt thou appoint what we shall grant? Soldiers, away with him! Thus we'll gratify the king. We'll send his head by thee. Let him bestow his tears on that. For that is all he gets of Gaveston, or else his senseless trunk.
Not so, my lords, lest he bestow more cost in burying him than he hath ever earned.
My lords, it is his majesty's request, and in the honour of a king he swears, he will but talk with him and send him back.
When? Can you tell? Arundel, no. We want he that the care of his realm remits, and drive his nobles to this exigence. But Gaveston will, if he sees him once, violate any promises to possess him.
Then if you will not trust his grace and keep, my lords, I will be pledge for his return.
It is honourable in thee to offer this, but for we know thou art a noble gentleman, we will not wrong thee so, to make away a true man for a thief.
How meanst thou, Mortimer? That is overpays.
Away, base groom! Robber of king's renown, question with thy companions and thy mates!
Go! Take the villain! Soldiers, come away. We'll make quick work. Commend me to your master, my friend, and tell him that I watched it well. Come, let thy shadow party with King Edward.
Treacherous Earl! Shall I not see the king?
The king of heaven? Perhaps. No, the king. Away!
Infortuné Gaveston, où te conduit ton destin à présent?
I long to hear an answer from the barons, touching my friend, my dearest Gaveston. Ah, Spencer, not the riches of the realm can ransom him, but he's marked to die. I know the malice of the young Mortimer. Warwick I know is rough, and Lancaster inexorable, and I shall never see my lovely Piers, my Gaveston, again. The barons overbear me with their pride.
Were I king, England's sovereign, son to the lovely Eleanor of Spain, great Edward Longshank's issue, would I bear these barons, this rage, and suffer uncontrolled in mine own realm? My lord, pardon my speech. Did you retain your father's magnanimity? Did you regard the honour of your name? You would not suffer thus your majesty be counterbluffed of your nobility. Strike off their heads, and let them preach on poles. No doubt such lessons they will teach the rest, as by their preachments they will profit much, and learn obedience to their lawful king.
Yea, gentle Spencer, we have been too mild, too kind to them, but now have drawn our sword, and if they send me not my Gaveston, we'll steal it on their crest and pull their tops.
This hot resolve becomes your majesty, not to be tied to their affection, as though your highness were a schoolboy still and must be out and governed like a child.
Long live my sovereign, the noble Edward, in peace, triumphant, fortunate in war.
Welcome, old man. Comest thou in Edward's aid? Then tell thy prince of whence and what thou art.
Lo, with a band of bowmen and of pikes, brown bills and targeteers, 400 strong, sworn to defend King Edward's royal right. I come in person to your majesty, Spencer, the father of Hugh Spencer there, bound to your highness everlastingly for favour done in him unto us all.
Thy father, Spencer.
True, and it like your grace that pause in lieu of all your goodness shown, his life, my lord, before your princely feet.
Welcome 10,000 times, old man, again. Spencer, this love, this kindness to thy king argues thy noble mind and disposition. Spencer, I here create thee Earl of Wiltshire, and daily will enrich thee with our favour, that as the sunshine shall reflect o'er thee. Beside, the more manifest to our love, because we hear Lord Bruce doth sell his land, and that the Mortimers are in hand withal, thou shalt have crowns of us to outbid the barons. And Spencer, spare them not, but lay it on. Soldiers, a largess, and thrice welcome all!
My lord, here comes the queen.
Madam, what news?
News of dishonour, lord, and discontent. Our friend Lavune, faithful and full of trust, informeth us by letters and by words that Lord Valois, our brother, King of France, because your highness had been slack in homage, had seized Normandy into his hands. These be the letters, this the messenger.
Welcome, Lavune. Tush, Sib. If this be all, Valois and I will soon be friends again. But to my Gaveston shall I never see, never behold thee now. Madam, in this matter, we will employ you and your little son. You shall go parley with the King of France. Boy, see you bear you bravely to the king, and do your message with a majesty.
Commit not my you things of more weight than fits a prince so young as I to bear. And fear not, lord and father, heaven's great beams on Atlas' shoulder shall not lie more safe than shall your charge committed to my trust.
Oh, boy. This to earnestly grandmother fear thou art not marked too many days on earth.
Madam, we will see that you with speed be shipped, and this our son, Lavune, shall follow you with all the haste we can dispatch him hence. Choose of our lords to bear you company, and go us in peace. Leave us in wars at home.
Unnatural wars, where subjects brave their king, God end them once. My lords, I take my leave to make my preparation for France.
What, Lord Arundel? Dost thou come alone?
Yeah, my good lord, for Gaveston is dead.
Traitors! Have they put my friend to death? Tell me, Arundel, died he ere thou camest? Or didst thou see my friend to take his death?
Neither, my lord, for as he was surprised, begirt with weapons and with enemies round, I did your highness's message to them all, demanding him of them, entreating rather, and I said, upon the honour of my name, that I would undertake to carry him unto your highness and to bring him back.
And tell me, would the rebels deny me that?
They bear him to his death, and in a trench, strake off his head, and marched unto the camp.
Oh, shall I speak? Or shall I sigh and die?
My lord, refer your vengeance to the sword. Upon these barons, hearten up your men. Let not them unwavering murder your friends. Advance your standard, Edward, in the field, and march to fire them from their starting holes.
By earth, the common mother of us all. By heaven and all the moving orbs thereof. By this right hand, and by my father's sword, and all the honors longing to my crown, I will have heads and lives for him, as many as I have manors, castles, towns, and towers. Treacherous Warwick, traitorous Mortimer, If it be England's king, in lakes of gore your headless trunk, your bodies will I trail, that you may drink your fill and quaff in blood, and stain my royal standard with the same, that so my bloody colours may suggest remembrance of revenge immortally on your accursed, traitorous progeny, you villains that have slain my Gaveston! And in this place of honor and of trust, Spencer, sweet Spencer, I adopt thee here, and merely of our love we do create thee, Earl of Gloucester and Lord Chamberlain, despite of time, despite of enemy.
My lord is a messenger from the barons, desires access unto your majesty.
Admit him near.
Long live King Edward, England's lawful lord.
So wished not they, I wis, that sent thee hither. Thou comest from Mortimer and his complices, a ranker rout of rebels ne'er was. Well, say thy message!
The barons up in arms by me salute your highness with long life and happiness, and bid me say as plainer to your grace that if without effusion of blood you will this grief have ease and remedy, that from your princely person you remove this Spencer as the putrefying bronze that deads the royal vine, whose golden leaves impale your princely head, your diadem whose brightness such pernicious upstarts dim, say they, and lovingly advise your grace to cherish virtue and nobility, and have old servitors in high esteem, and shake off smooth dissembling flatterers. This granted they your honours and their lives are to your highness vowed and consecrate.
Ah! Traitors! Will they still display their pride?
Away, tarry no answer, but be gone! Rebels, will they appoint their sovereign, his sports, his pleasures, and his company? Yet ere thou go, see how I do divorce Spencer from thee. Now, get thee to thy lords, and tell them I will come to chastise them for murdering Gaveston. Hie thee, get thee gone! Edward with fire and sword follows at thy heels. My lords, perceive you how these rebels swell? Soldiers, good hearts, defend your sovereign's right. For now, even now, we march to make them stoop. Away! Why do we sound retreat? Upon them, lords. This day I shall pour vengeance with my sword on those proud rebels that are up in arms and do confront and countermand their king.
Not, my lord. Right will prevail.
Not amiss, my liege, for either part to breathe a while. Our men with sweat and dust all choked well near, begin to faint for heat, and this retire, refresheth horse and man.
Here come the rebels.
Look, Lancaster, yonder is Edward among his flatterers.
And there let him be, till he pay dearly for their company.
And shall, or Warwick's sword shall smite in vain.
What rebels, do you shrink and sound retreat?
No, Edward, no. Thy flatterers faint and fly.
They'd best betimes forsake thee in their trains, for they'll betray thee, traitors as they are.
Traitor on my face, rebellious Lancaster!
Away, base up to start. Bravest thou, nobles, thus?
A noble attempt, an honourable deed, is it not? O ye who assemble aid and levy arms against your lawful king, snap out of it!
For which ere long their heads shall satisfy, to appease the wrath of their offended king.
Then, Edward, thou wilt fight it to the last, and rather bathe thy sword in subjects' blood than banish that pernicious company.
Aye, traitors all, rather than thus be brave, make England's civil towns huge heaps of stones, and ploughs to go about our palace gates.
Oh, desperate in the natural resolution, to the fight, St. George for England and the Baron's right.
St. George for England and for King Edward's right! Now, lusty lords, now, not by chance of war, but justice of the quarrel and the cause. Veiled is your pride, methinks you hang the heads, but will advance them, traitors. Now 'tis time to be avenged on you for all your braves, and for the murder of my dearest friend, to whom right well you knew our soul was knit, good Piers of Gaveston, my sweet favourite. Ah, rebels! Recreants, you made him away!
Brother, in regard of thee and of thy land did they remove that flatterer from thy throne.
So, sir, you have spoke. Away, avoid our presence. Accursed wretches! Was't in regard of us, when we had sent our messenger to request he might be spared to come to speak with us, that thou, proud Warwick, watched the prisoner, poor Piers, and headed him 'gainst law of arms? For which thy head shall overlook the rest, as much as thou in rage outwent'st the rest.
Tyrant! I scorn thy threats and menaces. It is but temporal that thou canst inflict.
The worst is death, and better die to live than live in infamy under such a king!
Away with them, my lord of Winchester! These lusty leaders, Warwick and Lancaster, I charge you roundly off with both their heads! Away!
Farewell, vain world!
Sweet Mortimer, farewell!
England, unkind to thy nobility, groan for this grief, behold how thou art maimed.
Go take that haughty Mortimer to the Tower. There see him safe bestowed, and for the rest do speedy execution on them all. Begone.
What, Mortimer? Can rugged stony walls immure thy virtue that aspires to heaven? No, Edward, England's scourge it may not be. Mortimer's hope surmounts his fortune far.
Sound drums and trumpets! March with me, my friends. Edward this day hath crowned him king anew.
Lavoon, the trust that we repose in thee begets the quiet of King Edward's land. Therefore be gone in haste, and with advice, bestow that treasure on the lords of France, that, therewith all enchanted, like the guard that suffered Jove to pass in showers of gold to Danan, all aid may be denied to Isabel, the queen, that now in France makes friends to cross the seas with her young son and step into his father's regiment.
That's it. These barons and the subtle queen long-levelled art.
Yea, but Levion thou seest, these barons lay their heads on blocks together. What they intend, the hangman frustrates clean.
Have you no doubt, my lords? I'll club so close among the lords of France with England's gold that Isabel shall make her plaints in vain, and France shall be obdurate with her tears.
Then make for France amain, Levion away. Proclaim King Edward's wars and victories.
Groundlings, this is your 5-minute interval. Excuse me, and I have a frog in my throat. You now have 5 minutes to refresh your drinks, refresh yourselves, if you can, and prepare yourself for the second half. I would now like to invite the amazing Emily Ingram to the stage. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you so much. What a wonderful show. I hope you are enjoying it as much as I am. It's been just incredible.
I'm loving it. So proud, so proud.
You should be. I'm just going to take 2 minutes to thank some of the wonderful people in the Groundlings who have helped us to make this show and the month of Marlowe possible this evening. So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Ingram. I'm the Associate Director, Stage Manager, and Master of Props for The Show Must Go Online. And I'm also working with our incredible producer, Matthew Rhodes, to bring the month of Marlowe to your screens. And it's also our Patreon supporters who are helping us to bring these shows to your screens. The performance you're watching this evening and the month of Marlowe absolutely could not happen without the help of those who support us on Patreon. So thank you so much for your contributions, which support all of the artists that you've seen here this evening performing their hearts out. The support patrons that you offer on Patreon is how we're able to create live, engaging theatre that spans time zones, oceans, and continents. Your ongoing commitment to live, innovative digital theatre means so much to us. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. If you're a new patron, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. Make sure you check out all of the amazing Patreon exclusives like our Sonnet project, which is 54 sonnets interpreted and performed by 54 actors with 2 new sonnets every single week. There's also behind the scenes clips, interviews, vlogs, and more. There's certainly something for everyone there, and I hope you enjoy what you find there. If you're enjoying what you see this evening as well, the Show Must Go Online Patreon is certainly the place to be. So if you haven't joined Patreon yet, it's not too late to join in the fun. You will find the link in this video description. If you'd like to support the Show Must Go Online and the performance tonight in other ways, while celebrating your love for theatre, you can also check out our Redbubble shop, which has our complete First Folio Tour t-shirt with all the shows and dates from our First Folio collection, as well as other Show Must Go Online branded merchandise, including beautiful artwork by Carly Sponzo of memorable moments and characters from across our First Folio series. You'll find the link to that store in the video description as well. Thank you so much again for your support. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. But before we begin the second half, I reckon we've got time for a couple of questions. So if they don't mind, let's welcome back to the stage Kevin and Harry. Kevin and Harry, can you join me out here? Thank you so much.
Hi.
Kevin, there's been such an outpouring of love for your work in the Groundlings chat already this evening, and rightly so. And there's one comment in particular that I would love to draw your attention to. Someone says, very enthusiastically, I'm going to need all of the films that influence this. And if you can condense all of the wonderful influences that you have into just a little snippet for our groundlings, then I'd love to give you the floor to do that.
Sure, yeah. Great question. So the first filmic influence for this was a film by Ingmar Bergman, and the film, I'm sorry, this show is very much influenced by his work and his style. But the first one that I had thought of was his film The Passion of Anna, which uses sound punctuation in a way that has always intrigued me so much. This very modernist use of these abstract sounds that punctuate moments in the drama. And so that was the first decision that I made, was to do that, to use sound in that way. So, and that came from that film. And then that led me to Persona, which was it's my favorite film, actually. So, but that was a really big influence. And in terms of the black and white, which someone else proposed with black and white, I think it was Rob Miles, actually, in our first conversation, when I mentioned Bergman, he said, oh, what if we did it in black and white? And so Persona, the use of close-ups and faces and the way that Bergman does that, I shared all that with the cast, and that was very much on my mind. Another one was Orphée, or Orpheus, by Jean Cocteau, the film from the 1950s, another queer artist who I admire very much, and especially the stuff with the Queen was very much influenced by Orphée and by the work of Cocteau, and with the mirrors. And because in the play I felt this idea of reflection and was so important thematically. Reflection as in seeing yourself reflected in someone else, or the way you see those reflections of yourself, and the way that represents identity and those ideas, which were also very important to me. And the last one I'll mention is La Reine Margot, Queen Margot, which is a film from 1994 by Patrice Chéreau. And this is an amazing movie, which tells the story of the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, which was a slaughter of Protestants in Paris when they attended the wedding of Queen Margot to Henri of Navarre. And this actual event happened during Marlowe's lifetime, and he wrote a play about it called The Massacre at Paris. And so I wanted it was very important to me to kind of think about, not necessarily about this time and what was happening in the world when Marlowe wrote this. And that film is amazing. And also stars Isabella Adjani, who are amazing Queen Isabella. Alexandra Bandean reminds me so much of Isabella Adjani. Adjani has nothing on you, darling. Fantastic. So yeah, so those were the 4 that I'll mention.
Wow, it's really wonderful just to get a tiny snapshot into the way you work and the influences that you've had in creating this production. And I hope we'll be able to circle back and hear a little bit more about this after the show. But for now, let's move on to a question for Harry, if that's all right. Harry, I was wondering if you could tell us a wee bit more about the performance history of Edward II.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot to cover in minus 1 minute. I know we're all dying to get back to Kevin's fantastic performance. And this is certainly a landmark production that we're watching right now in the history of Edward II in performance. It's actually fairly canonical for a non-Shakespearean play. There have been 10 North American and UK performances in the last 20 years of this play. And it's become, like I said in my introduction, a play that gets wheeled out at key moments in public discourse, political discourse about particularly gay liberation, gay identity, but in ways that have tended to become quite cliched. So what is so refreshing about what Kevin and the cast are doing with this is that they're not resorting to cliche. I mentioned the National Theatre production and several other productions that I've seen of Edward II tend to kind of equate homosexuality with decadence. So there's lots of kind of leather or feathers or spangles. And okay, we've got Cher in this production, but in a very kind of celebratory way that doesn't set Edward and Gaveston apart from the rest of the company in the way that is quite often the case in productions which tend to land more on the side of the barons than Edward. And I think that's something that's really great to see, that there's not that drive back to kind of reduction and to stereotype, which has kind of plagued performances of this play, even in the 20th and 21st centuries.
Thank you. That's really wonderful to hear. Now, I am aware that our groundlings are champing at the bit to get back to the second half of the show, but I'm going to ask one more question. This is because I believe it's important to give credit where credit is due. And Kevin, an audience member asked a little bit earlier on, was the translation created for this production? Was it an existing version? So can you tell us a little bit about who we will need to be giving a huge digital round of applause to, please?
Yes, thank you for this question. It's a great one. And one more thing I want to say about it influence is the films of Olivier Assayas, like Personal Shopper, and those movies also really influenced me because he uses multiple languages in his work, and it was really important to me that the French characters spoke French when they spoke privately to themselves or between each other. This was absolutely essential to me, especially because I'm married to an amazing Frenchman, and we speak French at home. And so this is just something that it was, I think the first thing that I said, I have to do it this way. The translation that we found is from 1896, and it's by Georges Écoud, who's a Belgian writer. I don't know actually much about him, but we took that translation. My husband, Hugo Doyon, and I took that translation. I chose the parts that I wanted to put into French. I sent those to Hugo. He did the translation, and then we talked and we like argued over stuff and words and everything. Had a whole bit about it, and that's how the translation was made. So it is a translation from the 19th century, which was quite old-fashioned, but I didn't mind that because this is a play from the 16th century. So I kind of pushed to leave some of those really old-fashioned words in, but then with Hugo's just amazing mind and it really his brilliance as a writer, he's a brilliant writer, took the lines and put them more back to the meaning that I felt they had in the original Marlowe. We really tried to get back to what Marlowe had written. And so, yeah, that's the answer.
Thank you so much for telling us a little bit about that. We are so lucky to have you and Hugo working on this. We are very indebted to you both for your creative vision. I'm going to disappear backstage so that you can tell the groundlings a little bit about what they're going to see next. Thank you so much, Kevin and Harry. Thank you so much, groundlings.
Thank you. And thank you, Harry, really. It's so good to have you here. For the groundlings, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, without further ado, please enjoy the second half of Edward II.
Fair blows the wind for France. Blow, gentle gale, till Edmund be arrived for England's good. Nature, yield to my country's cause in this. A brother, no, a butcher of thy friends. Proud Edward, dost thou banish me thy presence? But I'll to France, and cheer the wronged queen, and certify what Edward's looseness is, unnatural king. To slaughter noblemen and cherish flatterers. Mortimer, I stay thy sweet escape. Stand, gracious gloomy knight, to his device.
Hola, who walketh there? Is you, my lord?
Mortimer, 'tis I, would have thy portion wrought so happily.
It hath, my lord. The warders all asleep, I thank them, gave me leave to pass in peace. But hath your grace got shipping unto France?
Fear it not.
Mon fils, nos amis de France nous font défection. Les seigneurs nous narguent et le roi nous repousse. À quoi nous décider?
Retournez en Angleterre, madame. Elle a donné satisfaction à mon père. Alors, au diable l'amitié de mon oncle ici en France. Je vous garantis que je servirai bien le fils dans le bon grâce du roi. Il m'aime bien mieux que tous les penseurs de la terre.
Oh, mon garçon. Tu te trompes. Du moins, est-ce que tu penses que nous puissions encore nous accorder? Non, non, nous sommes 10 juin. De trop loin. Inhumain Valois. Malheureuse Isabelle. Si la France te repousse, vers quelle plage dirigeras-tu tes pas?
Madame, quelle bonne nouvelle.
Mon sergent de Hainaut, jamais nouvelles n'ont été si décourageantes. Au contraire, jamais je n'ai connu détresse si profonde.
J'ai pris, chère dame, la côté du roi. Ne vous découragez pas. Les âmes les mieux trempées méprisent le désespoir. Pour Thérèse, consent-elle à m'accompagner à Nanon et à y attendre avec votre fils des temps plus favorables? Qu'en dites-vous, Miller? Consentez-vous à suivre vos amis et à partager leur bonne ou leur mauvaise fortune?
Si c'est pour Sicile à la reine, ma mère, il me plaît aussi. Ni la roi d'Angleterre, ni la cour de France ne m'arracheront au cou de ma mère, jusqu'à ce que je sois à sa remplacement. Alors, je ferai mordre la poussière au plus au-delà de sa Spencer.
Voilà qui s'appelle parler, Milord.
Mon doux enfant, comme je souffre du mal que l'on te fait. Et pourtant j'exulte grâce à la foi que j'ai en toi, mon trésor. Allons, bon sergent, nous sommes prêts à nous rendre où tu voudras. Le Hainaut fut-il situé aux extrêmes confins de l'Europe? Montre-nous le chemin. Le marquis est un loyal et courtois chevalier. Il nous fera un accueil hospitalier, je présume. Oh, mais qui est là?
Madam, long may you live. Much happier than your friends in England do.
Lord Edmund and Lord Mortimer alive. Welcome to France. The news was here, my lord, that you were dead, or very near your death.
Lady, the last was truest of the twain, but Mortimer, reserved for better hap, hath shaken off the thraldom of the Tower, and lives to advance your standard. Good, my lord.
How mean you? And the king, my father, lives? No, my lord Mortimer. Not I trow.
Not son. Why not? Would it were no worse. But, gentle lords, friendless we are in France.
Monsieur le Grand, a noble friend of yours, told us at our arrival all the news. How hard the nobles, how unkind the king hath showed himself. But, madam, right makes room where weapons want. And, though a many friends are made away, as Warwick, Lancaster, and others of our party and faction, yet have we friends, assure your grace, in England would cast up caps and clap their hands for joy to see us there, appointed for our foes.
Oh, would all were well, and Edward well reclaimed for England's honour, peace, and quietness.
But by my sword, my lord, 'tmust be deserved. The king will ne'er forsake his flatterers.
My lord of England, since the ungentle king of France refused to give aid of arms to this distressed queen, his sister here, go you with her to Hainaut. Doubt ye not, we will find comfort, money, men, and friends along to bid the English king abase. How say, young prince? What think you of the march?
I think King Edward will outrun us all.
Hey, son. Not so. And you must not discourage your friends that are so forward in your aid.
Sir John of Hainault, pardon us, I pray. These comforts that you give our woeful queen bind us in kindness all at your command.
Yea, gentle brother. And the God of heaven prosper your happy motion, good Sir John.
This noble gentleman, forward in arms, was born, I see, to be our anchor-hold. Sir John of Hainault, be it thy renown that England's queen and nobles in distress have been by thee restored and comforted.
Madam, along, and you, my lords, with me, that England's peers may Hainault's welcome see.
Thus, after many threats of wrathful war, triumpheth England's Edward with his friends, and triumph Edward with his friends uncontrolled. My Lord of Gloucester, do you hear the news?
What news, my lord?
Why, man, they say there is great execution done throughout the realm. My Lord of Arundel, you have the note, have you not?
From the lieutenant of the tower, my lord.
I pray, let us see it. What have we there? Read it, Spencer.
The Lord William Touchet, the Lord William Fitzwilliam, the Lord Warren Delisle, the Lord Henry Bradbourne, and the Lord William Cheney, barons with John Page and Esquire, were drawn and hanged at and then shortly after, Roger Lord Clifford, Lord John Mowbray, and Sir Gawain de Evil, barons, were drawn and hanged at York. At Bristow, in like manner, were executed Sir William de Wellington and Sir Henry Montford, baronets, and at Gloucester, the Lord John Gifford and Sir William Elmbridge, knight. And at London, the Lord Henry Pusey's baron, at Winchester, Sir Thomas Culpeper, knight. At Windsor, the Lord Francis Diam, baron, and at Canterbury, the Lord Bartholomew de Badilsmere and the Lord Bartholomew de Ashborough. Also at Cardiff, in Wales. So William Fleming, knight, was executed. Divers were executed in their country as Sir Thomas Mandit and others.
Why so? They barked apace a month ago. Now on my life they'll neither bark nor bite. Now, sirs, the news from France. Gloucester, I trow the lords of France love England's gold so well as Isabella gets no aid from thence. What now remains? Have you proclaimed, my lord, reward for them can bring in Mortimer?
My lord, we have. And if he be in England, I will be here hadlong. I doubt it not.
If, dost thou say? Spencer, as true as death, he is in England's ground. Our portmasters are not so careless of their king's command. How now? What news with thee? From whence come these?
Letters, my lord, and tidings forth of France to you, my lord of Gloucester, from Lavoon.
Read.
My duty to your honour, premised, I have, according to instructions in that behalf, dealt with the King of France, his lords, and effected that the Queen, all discontented and discomforted, is gone. Whither, you ask, with Sir John of Hainault, brother of the Marquis into Flanders. With them are gone Lord Edmund and the Lord Mortimer, having in their company divers of your nation and others, and as constant report goeth, they intend to give King Edward battle in England sooner than he can look for them. This is all the news of import, your honours in all service living.
Villains! Hath that Mortimer escaped? With him is Edmund gone associate, and will Sir John of Hainault lead the round? Welcome, a God's name, madam, and your son. England shall welcome you in all your rout. Gallop apace, bright Phoebus, through the sky, and dusky night and rusty iron car between you both shorten the time, I pray, that I may see that most desired day when we may meet these traitors in the field. Nothing grieves me but my little boys thus misled to countenance their ills. Come, friends, to Bristow, there to make us strong, and winds as equal to bring them in as you injurious were to bear them forth.
Now, lords, our loving friends and countrymen, welcome to England all, with prosperous winds. Our kindest friends in Belgia have we left to cope with friends at home. A heavy case when forced to forces knit and sword and glaive, in civil brawls made kin and countrymen slaughter themselves and others in their sights with their own weapons gore. But what's the help? Misgoverned kings are cause of all this wrack, and Edward, thou art one among them all, whose looseness hath betrayed thy land to spoil, who made the channels overflow with blood. Of thine own people patron shouldst thou be, but thou—
Hey, madam, if you be a warrior, you must not grow so passionate in speeches. Lords, sith that we are by sufferance of heaven arrived and armed in this prince's right, here for our country's cause swear we to him all homage, fealty, and forwardness. And for the open wrongs and injuries Edward hath done to us, his queen, and land, we come in arms to wreck it with the sword, that England's queen in peace may repossess her dignities and honours, and withal we may remove these flatterers from the king that havoc England's wealth and treasury.
Sound trumpets, my lords, and forward let us march. Edward will think we come to flatter him.
I would he had never been flattered more.
Fly, my lords, the queen is ever strong. Her friends do multiply and yours do fail. Shape we our course to Ireland, there to breathe.
What? Was I born to fly and run away and leave the mortarers, conquerors behind? Give me my horse and let's reinforce our troops, and in this bed of honor die with fame!
Oh no, my lord, these princely Jerusalem it's not the time. Away! We are pursued!
This way he fled. But I am come too late, Edward. Alas, my heart relents for thee. Proud traitor Mortimer, why dost thou chase thy lawful king, thy sovereign, with thy sword? Vile wretch, and why hast thou of all unkind borne arms against my brother and thy king? Bring showers of vengeance on my cursed head. Thou God to whom injustice it belongs to punish this unnatural revolt. Oh, Edward, this Mortimer aims at thy life. Oh, fly him then. Edmund, calm this rage. Dissemble, or thou diest. For Mortimer and Isabel do kiss while they conspire. And yet she bears a face of love, forsooth. Fie on that love that hatcheth death and hate. Edmund, away. Bristow to Longshank's blood is false. Be not found single for suspect. Proud Mortimer, prize near unto thy walks.
Successful battle gives the God of kings to them that fight in right and fear his wrath. Since then successfully we have prevailed. Thanked be heaven's great architect and you. Ere farther we proceed, my noble lords, we here create our well-beloved son of love and care unto his royal person, Lord Warden of the realm. said the fates have made his father so unfortunate. Deal you, my lords, in this, my loving lords, as to your wisdom's fittest seems in all.
Madam, without offence, if I may ask, how will you deal with Edward in his fall?
Tell me, good uncle, what Edward do you mean?
Nephew, your father, I dare not call him king.
My lord of Kent, what needs these questions? 'Tis not in her control, nor in ours. But as the realm and parliament shall please, so shall your brother be disposed of. I like not this relenting mood in Edmund. Madam, 'tis good to look to him betimes.
My lord, the mayor of Bristow knows our mind.
Yea, madam, and they escape not easily that fled the field.
Baldock is with the king. A goodly chancellor is he not, my lord?
So are Spencers, the father and the son.
This Edward is the ruin of the realm!
God save Queen Isabel and her princely son. Madam, the mayor and citizens of Bristow, in sign of love and duty to this presence, present by me this traitor to the state, Spencer, the father of that wanton Spencer, that like the lawless Catiline of Rome revelled in England's wealth and treasury.
We thank you all.
Your loving care in this deserveth princely favours and rewards. But where's the king and the other Spencer fled?
Oh, Spencer the son, created Earl of Gloucester, is with that smooth-tongued scholar Baldock, gone and shipped, but late for Ireland with the king.
Some whirlwind fetch them back, or sink them all. They shall be started thence, I doubt it not.
Shall I not see the king, my father, yet?
Unhappy's Edward tears from England's bounds.
Madam, what resist? Why stand you in a muse?
I rue my lord's ill fortune. But alas, care for my country called me to this war.
Madam, have done with care and sad complaint. Your king hath wronged your country and himself, and we must seek to right it as we may. Meanwhile, advance this rebel to the block. Your lordship cannot privilege your head.
Rebel is he that fights against his prince. So fought not they that fought in Edward's right.
Take him away, he prates. You, Rice the Powell, shall do good service to her majesty, being of countenance in your country here, to follow these rebellious runagates. We, in the meanwhile, madam, must take advice, how Baldock, Spencer, and their accomplices may, in their fall, be followed to their end.
Quand j'avais 12 ans.
Cuando tenía 12 años.
And I was 12 years old.
Cuando tenía 12 años.
And I was 12 years old.
Cuando tenía 12.
I was 12 years old.
Cuando tenía 12.
When I was 12 years old.
Cuando tenía 12.
When I was 12 years old. When I was 12 years old.
Cuando tenía 12 años.
When I was 12 years old.
Cuando tenía 12 años.
Have you no doubt, my lord? Have you no fear? As silent and as careful we will be to keep your royal person safe with us, free from suspect and fell invasions of such as have your majesty in chase, yourself and those your chosen company, as danger of this stormy time require.
Father, thy face should harbor no deceit. Oh, hadst thou ever been a king, thy heart, pierced deeply with sense of my distress, could not but take compassion of my state. Stately and proud, in riches and in train, whilom I was powerful and full of pomp. But what is he whom rule and empery have not in life or death made miserable? Come, Spencer. Come, Baldock. Come, sit down by me. Make trial now of that philosophy that in our famous nurseries of arts thou suck'st from Plato and from Aristotle. Father, this life contemplative is heaven. Oh, that I might this life in quiet lead. But we, alas, are chaste. And you, my friends, your lives and my dishonor they pursue. Yet, gentle monks, for treasure, gold nor fee, do you betray us and our company.
Your grace may sit secure if none but we do what of your abode.
Not one alive, but truly I suspect a gloomy fellow in a mead below. Gave a long look after us, my lord, and all the land I know is up in arms. Arms that pursue our lives with deadly hate.
We were embarked for Ireland, wretched we, with awkward winds and with sore tempests driven to fall on shore, and here to pine in fear of Mortimer and his confederates.
Mortimer! Who talks to Mortimer? Who wounds me with the name of Mortimer, that bloody man? Good father, on thy lap lay I this head, laden with mickle care. Oh, might I never open these eyes again, never again lift up this drooping head.
Look up, my lord. Baldock, this drowsiness. Look up, my lord. Baldock, this drowsiness betide no good. Here even we are betrayed.
Upon my life, these be the men ye seek.
Fellow enough, my lord, I pray be short. A fair commission warrants what we do.
Queen's commission urged by Mortimer. What cannot gallant Mortimer with the Queen? Alas, see where he sits, and hopes unseen to escape the hands that seek to reave his life. Too true it is. Cum dies fitted veniens, superbum. Hunc dies fitted fugiens jacentum. At Leicester, leave to grow so passionate. Spencer and Baldock, by no other names, I do arrest you on high treason here. Stand not on titles, but obey the arrest. 'Tis in the name of Isabel the Queen. My lord, why droop you thus?
Oh, day, the last of all my bliss on earth, center of all my misfortune. Oh, my stars, why do you lower unkindly on a king? Comes Leicester, then, in Isabella's name, to take my life, my company from me. Here, men, rip up this panting breast of mine and take my heart in rescue of my friends.
Away with them!
It may become thee yet to let us take our farewell of his grace.
My heart, with pity, yearns to see this sight, a king to bear these words and groan commands.
Spencer, sweet Spencer, thus then we must part.
We must, my lord. So will the angry heavens.
Nay, so will hell and cruel Mortimer. The gentle heavens have naught to do in this.
My lord, it is in vain to grieve or storm. Here humbly of your grace we take our leaves. Our lots are cast. Our fear me so is thine.
In heaven we may, in earth ne'er shall we meet. And Leicester, say, what shall become of us?
Your Majesty must go to Killingworth.
Must? It is somewhat hard when kings must go.
Here is a litter ready for your grace. That waits your pleasure, and the day grows old.
As good be gone as stay and be benighted.
A litter, hast thou? Lay me in a hearse, and to the gates of hell convey me hence. Let Pluto's bells ring out my fatal knell, and hags howl for my death at Sharon's shore. For friends hath Edward known but these. And these must die under a tyrant's sword.
My lord, be going, care not for these, for we shall see them shorter by the heads.
Well, that shall be, shall be. Part we must. Sweet Spencer, gentle Baldock, part we must. Hence, fainted weeds, unfaded are my woes. Oh, Father, Lester, thou stayest from me, and go I must. Life, farewell, with my friends.
Oh, is he gone? Is noble Edward gone? Parted from hence, never to see us more.
Spencer, I see our souls are fleeted hence. Reduce we all our lessons unto these. To die, sweet Spencer, therefore leave we all. Spencer, or leave to die, and rise.
Come, keep these preachments till you come to the place appointed.
Your lordship, I trust will remember me.
Remember thee, fellow. What else? Follow me to the town.
Be patient, good my lord. Cease to lament. Imagine Killingworth Castle were your court, and that you lay for pleasure here a space, not for compulsion or necessity.
Sister, if gentle words might come from me, thy speeches long ago had eased my sorrows. For kind and loving hast thou always been. The griefs of private men are soon allayed, but not of kings. The forest deer being struck runs to an herb that closeth up with wounds. But when the imperial lion's flesh is gored, he rends and tears it with his wrathful paw, and highly scorning that the lowly earth should drink his blood, mounts up into the air. And so it fares with me, whose dauntless mind the ambitious Mortimer would seek to curb, and that unnatural queen, false Isabel, that has thus pent and mewed me in a prison. For such outrageous passions cloy my soul as with the rings of rancor and disdain. Full often am I soaring up to heaven to plain me to the gods them both. But when I call to mind I am a king, me I should revenge me of my wrongs that Mortimer and Isabel have done. But what are kings when regiment is gone and perfect shadows in a sunshine day? My nobles rule. I bear the name of king. I wear the crown, but am controlled by them, by Mortimer and my unconstant queen, who spots my nuptial bed with infamy whilst I am lodged within this cave of care, where sorrow at my elbow still attends, to company my heart with sad laments that bleeds within me for this strange exchange. But tell me, must I now resign my crown to make usurping Mortimer a king?
Your grace mistakes. It is for England's good and princely Edward's right we crave the crown.
No, 'tis for Mortimer, not Edward's head. For he's a lamb, encompassed by wolves, which in a moment will abridge his life. But if proud Mortimer do wear this crown, heavens turn it to a blaze of quenchless fire. So shall not England's vine be perished. But Edward's name survives, though Edward dies.
Time away. They stay your answer. Will you yield your crown?
Lester, weigh how hardly I can brook to lose my crown and kingdom without a cause. To give ambitious Mortimer my right, that like a mountain overwhelms my bliss, in which extreme my mind here murder it is. But what the heavens appoint, I must obey. Here, take my crown, the life of Edward II. 2 kings in England cannot reign at once. But while I stay a while, let me be king till night, that I may gaze upon this glittering crown. So shall my eyes receive their last content. My head, the latest honor due to it, and jointly both yield up their wished right. Continue ever, thou celestial sun, that never silent night possess this clime. Stand you still, watches of the element. All times and seasons, rest you at his stay, that Edward may still be fair England's king. But day's bright beam doth vanish fast away, and needs I must resign my wished crown. Inhuman creatures, nursed with tiger's milk, why keep you for your sovereign's overthrow? My diadem, I mean, and guiltless life. See, monsters, I'll wear my crown again. What? Fear ye not the fury of your king. But, hapless Edward, thou art fondly led. They pass not for thy frowns as late they did, but seek to make a new elected king, which fills my mind with strange despairing thoughts, which thoughts are martyred with endless torments, and in this torment comfort find I none, but that I feel the crown upon my head, and therefore let me wear it yet a while.
My lords, the Parliament must have present news, and therefore say, will you resign or no?
Not resign, but whilst I live be king. Traitors be gone and join with Mortimer. Elect, conspire, install, do what you will. Their blood and yours shall seal these treacheries.
This answer we will return, and so farewell.
Call them back, my lord, and speak them fair. If they go, the prince shall lose his right.
Call them thou back. I have no power to speak.
My lord, the king is willing to resign.
If he be not, let him choose.
No, would I might, but heavens and earth conspire to make me miserable. Here receive my crown. Receive it. Oh, these innocent hands of mine shall not be guilty of so foul a crime. He of you that all that most desires my blood and will be called a murderer of a king, take it! What, are you so moved? Pity you me? Then send for unrelenting Mortimer, and Isabel, whose eyes, being turned to steel, will sooner sparkle fire than shed a tear. Yet stay. For rather than I'll look on them, here. Now, sweet God of heaven, make me despise this transitory pomp and sit for I enthronized in heaven. Come, death, and with thy fingers close my eyes, or if I live, let me forget myself.
My lord.
Call me not lord! Go away, out of my sight. Pardon me, makes me a lunatic. Let not that Mortimer protect my son. More safety is there in a tiger's jaws than his embracements. Bear this to the queen, wet with my tears, and dried again with sighs. If with the sight thereof she be not moved, return it back and dip it in my blood. Commend me to my son, and bid him rule better than I. Yet how have I transgressed? Unless it be with too much clemency.
And thus most humbly do we take our leave.
Farewell. I know the next news they bring will be my death, and welcome shall it be. To wretched men death is felicity.
And the post? What news brings he?
Such news as I expect. Come, Berkeley, come and tell thy message to my naked breast.
My lord, think not a thought so villainous can harbour in a man of noble birth. To do your highness service and devoir, and save you from your foes, Berkeley would die.
My lord, the council of the Queen's command that I resign my charge.
And who must keep me now? Must you, my lord?
Aye, my most gracious lord, so 'tis decreed.
By Mortimer, whose name is written here. Well, may I rend his name that rends my heart. This poor revenge is something eased my mind. So may his limbs be torn as is this paper. Hear me, immortal Jove, and grant it too.
Your grace must hence with me to Berkeley straight.
Whither you will, all places are alike, and every earth is fit for burial.
Favour him, my lord, as much as lieth in you.
Even so betide my soul as I use him.
Mine enemy hath pitied my estate, and that's the cause that I am now removed.
And thinks your grace that Berkeley will be cruel?
I know not, but of this I am assured, that death ends all, and I can die but once. Leicester, farewell.
Not yet, my lord. I'll bear you to your end.
Fair Isabel, now have we our desire. The proud corrupters of the light-brained king have done their homage to the lofty gallows, and he himself lies in captivity. Be ruled by me, and we will rule the realm. In any case, take heed of childish fear. For now we hold an old wolf by the ears, that if he slip, will seize upon us both, and gripe the sore being griped himself. Think, therefore, madam, that imports us much to erect your son with all the speed we may, and that I be protector over him. For our behoof will bear the greater sway, when as a king's name shall be underwrit.
Sweet Mortimer, the life of Isabel, be thou persuaded that I love thee well, and therefore so the prince my son be safe, whom I esteem as dear as these mine eyes. Conclude against his father what thou wilt, and I myself will willingly subscribe.
And first I would hear that he were deposed, and then let me alone to handle him. Letters! From whence?
From, Killingsworth, my lord.
How fares my lord the king?
In health, madam, but full of pensiveness.
Alas, poor soul, what I could ease his grief. Thanks, gentle Winchester. Sirrah, be gone.
The king hath willingly resigned his crown.
Oh, happy news. Send for the prince, my son.
Further, or this letter was sealed, Lord Berkeley came, so that he now is gone from Killingworth, and we have heard that Edmund laid a plot to set his brother free. No more but so. The Lord of Berkeley is as pitiful as Leicester, that had charge of him before.
Then let some others be his guardian.
Let me alone. Here is the privy seal. Who's there? Call hither Gurney and Matrevis, to dash the heavy-headed Edmund's drift. Berkeley shall be discharged, the king removed, and none but we shall know where he lieth.
With Mortimer, as long as he survives, what safety rests for us, or for my son?
Enough. Travis, write a letter presently unto the Lord of Berkeley from ourself that he resign the king to thee and Gurney. And when 'tis done, we will subscribe our name.
It shall be done, my lord.
Gurney.
My lord.
As thou intendest to rise by Mortimer, who now makes fortune's wheel turn as he please, seek all the means thou canst to make him droop, and neither give him kind word nor good look.
Warrant you, my lord.
And this above the rest, because we hear that Edmund casts a work his liberty, remove him still from thence place to place by night, till at the last he come to Killingworth, and then from thence to Berkeley back again. And by the by, to make him fret the more, speak curtly to him, and in any case let no man comfort him. If he chance to weep, but amplify his grief with bitter words.
Fear not, my lord, we'll do as you command.
So now away! Post thitherward, Sir Main.
Whither goes this letter? To my lord the king? Commend me humbly to his majesty, and tell him that I labour all in vain to ease his grief and work his liberty, and bear him this as witness of my love.
I will, madam.
Finely dissembled. Do so still, sweet queen. Here comes the young prince with the Earl of Kent.
He whispers in his childish ears.
If he have such access unto the prince, plots and stratagems will soon be dashed.
Youth Edmund friendly. All well.
How fares my honourable lord of Kent?
Oh, in health, sweet Mortimer. How fares your grace?
Well, if my lord your brother were enlarged.
I hear of late he had to pose himself.
The more my grief.
And mine.
They do dissemble.
Approche mon doigt, enfant, j'ai à te parler.
You being his uncle, and the next of blood, do look to be protector over the prince.
Not I, my lord. Who should protect the son but she that gave him life? I mean the queen.
Mother, persuade me not to wear the crown. Let Edmund be king. I am too young to reign.
Be content, seeing 'tis his highness' pleasure.
Let me see him first, and then I will.
I do, sweet nephew.
Brother, you know it is impossible.
Why, is he dead?
No, God forbid.
I would those words proceeded from your heart.
Inconstant Edmund, dost thou favour him that was the cause of his imprisonment?
The more cause have I now to make amends.
I tell thee, 'tis not meet that one so false should come about the person of a prince. My lord, he hath betrayed the brother, his king, and therefore trust him not.
But he repents and sorrows for it now.
Come, son, and go with this gentle lord and me.
With you I will, but not with Mortimer.
Why, youngling, denst thou so of Mortimer, that I will carry thee by force away?
Help, Uncle Kent! Mortimer will wrong me!
Brother Edmund, strive not. We are his friends.
No.
Isabel is nearer than the Earl of Kent.
Sister Edward is my charge. Redeem him.
Edward is my son, and I will keep him.
Mortimer shall know that he hath wronged me. Hence will I in haste to Killingworth Castle, and rescue aged Edward from his foes, to be revenged on Mortimer and thee.
My lord, be not pensive. We are your friends. Men are ordained to live in misery, therefore come. Dalliance dangereth our lives.
Friends, whither must unhappy Edward go? Will hateful Mortimer appoint no rest? Must I be vexed like the nightly bird whose sight is a lonesome to all winged fowls? When will the fury of his mind assuage? When will his heart be satisfied with blood? If mine will serve unbow straight this breast, and give my heart to Isabel and him, it is the chiefest mark they level at.
Hey, not so, my liege. Queen hath given this charge to keep your grace in safety. Your passions make your dollars to increase.
This usage makes my misery to increase. But can my air of life continue long when all my senses are annoyed with stench? Within a dungeon England's king is kept, where I am starved for want of sustenance. My daily diet is heartbreaking sobs that almost rents the closet of my heart. Thus lives old Edward, not relieved by any, and so must die, pitied by many. Water! Gentle friends to cool my thirst and clear my body from foul excrements.
Here's channel water. Sit down.
Traitors away! What will you murder me and choke your sovereign with puddle water?
No! But wash your face and shave away your beard, lest you be known and so be rescued.
The wren may strive against the lion's strength, but all in vain. So vainly do I strive to seek for mercy at a tyrant's hand. Immortal powers, that knows the painful cares that wait upon my poor distressed soul. Full level lawyer looks upon these daring men that wrongs their liege and sovereign England's king. Gaveston, 'tis for thee that I am wronged. For me, both thou and both the Spencers died. And for your sakes, 1,000 wrongs I'll take. The Spencers' ghosts, wherever they remain, wish well to mine, and tush, for them I'll die.
Twixt theirs and yours shall be no enmity.
Now, who comes there?
God the King, sure it is the Earl of Kent.
Oh, brother! Gentle brother, help to rescue me!
Trust in the King?
Soldiers, let me but talk to him one word.
Lay hands upon the Earl, for he's assault.
Lay down your weapons, traitors, yield the King.
Thou thyself, or thou shalt die.
Base villains, wherefore do you gripe me thus?
Bind him and so convey him to the court.
Where is the court but here? Here is the King, and I will visit him. Why stare you me?
Remains. Thither long ago, and so
Oh, miserable is that commonwealth, when lords keep courts and kings are locked in prison. Leave me whither you will, even to my death, seeing that my brother cannot be released.
The king must die, or Mortimer goes down. The commons now begin to pity him. Yet he, that is the cause of Edward's death, is sure to pay for it when his son's of age, and therefore will I do it cunningly. This letter, written by a friend of ours, contains his death, yet bids them save his life. Edwardum occidere nolite timere bonum est. Fear not to kill the king, 'tis good he die. But read it thus, and that's another sense. Edwardum occidere nolite timere bonum est. Kill the king, 'tis good to fear the worst. Unpointed as it is, thus shall it go. That being dead, if it chance to be found, Matrevis and the rest may bear the blame, and we be quit that cause it to be done. Within this room is locked the messenger that shall convey it, and perform the rest, and by a secret token that he bears, shall he be murdered when the deed is done. Lightborn, come forth! Art thou as resolute as thou wast?
Else, my lord, am far more resolute.
Hast thou cast how to accomplish it?
Aye, and none shall know which way he died.
But at his looks, Lightborn, thou wilt relent.
Relent? I use much to relent.
Well, do it bravely and be secret.
You shall not need to give instruction. 'Tis not the first time I have killed a man. I learned in Naples how to poison flowers, to strangle with a lawn thrust through the throat, to pierce the windpipe with a needle's point, or, whilst one is asleep, to take a quill and blow a little powder in his ear, or open his mouth and pour quicksilver down. And yet, I have a braver way than these.
What's that?
Nay, you shall pardon me. None shall know my tricks.
I care not how it is, so it be not spied. Deliver this to Gurney and Matrevis. At every 10 mile, end thou hast a horse. Take this. Away, and never see me more.
No!
No! Unless thou bring me news of Edward's death.
That will I quickly do. Farewell, my lord.
The prince I rule. The queen do I command. And with a lowly cons to the ground, the proudest lords salute me as I pass. I seal, I cancel, I do what I will. Feared am I, more than loved. Let me be feared. And when I frown, make all the court look pale. I view the prince with Aristarchus' eyes, whose looks were as a breeching to a boy. They thrust upon me the protectorship, and sue to me for that I desire. Now is all sure, the queen and Mortimer shall rule the realm. The king and none rule us. Mine enemies will I plague. My friends advance, and what I list command, who dares control? Major sum quam qui possit fortune nucier. And that is the best be the coronation day. It pleaseth me, and Isabel, and the queen. The trumpets sound. I must go take my place.
Long live King Edward, by the grace of God, King of England and Lord of Ireland.
If any Christian, heathen, Turk or Jew dares but affirm that Edward's not true king, and will avouch his saying with the sword, I am the champion that will combat him.
None comes. Sound trumpets!
McCarthy.
Lord Mortimer, now take him to your charge.
Ah, what traitor have we there with blades and bills?
Edmund, the Earl of Kent.
What hath he done?
He would have taken the king away perforce, as we were bringing him to Killingworth.
Did you attempt this rescue, Edmund? Speak!
Mortimer, I did. He is our king. Now compels this prince to wear the crown.
Drag off his head! He shall have martial law.
Drag off my head, base traitor, I defy thee.
My lord, he is my uncle, and shall live.
My lord, he is your enemy, and shall die.
Dear villains!
Jamais! Si je n'ai pas le tort de lui pardonner, suppliez mi Lord Protecteur de prévenir sa vie.
Calmez-vous, mon fils. Je n'ose point parler.
Moi non plus. Et pourtant, il me semble que j'ai des frères commandés. Mais puisqu'on peut empêcher d'implorer sa clémence. My lord, if you will let my uncle live, I will requite it when I come to age.
'Tis for your highness's good, and for the realms. How often shall I bid you bear him hence?
Art thou king? Must I die at thy command?
At our command. Once more, away with him!
Let me but stay and speak. I will not go. Either my brother or his son is king, and none of both of them thirst for Edmund's blood. And therefore, soldiers, whither will you hail me?
Quelle sécurité trouverais-je auprès de Louis Simon Anglès à ce massacre honte s'est passé ce odeur?
Ne crains rien, cher enfant, je te protégerai de tes ennemis. Si Edmond avait vécu, il aurait cherché à te tuer, hein? Viens, mon fils, allons chasser à cheval dans le parc.
Mon oncle Edmond nous accompagnera-t-il?
C'est un traître, ne songe plus à lui. Viens.
Granny, I wonder the king dies not. Being in a vault up to the knees in water, to which the channels of the castle run, from whence a damp continually ariseth, that are enough to poison any man, much more a king, brought up so tenderly.
So do I, Matt. Yesternight, I opened but the door to throw him a meat, and I was almost stifled with the savour.
He had the body able to endure more than we can inflict, and therefore let us assail his mind another while.
Ah, send for him out thence, and I will anger him.
But stay, who's this?
My Lord Protector greets you.
What's there? Give me that paper. I know not how to construe it.
It was left unpointed for the nonce. Eduardum occidere nolite temere, that's his meaning.
Know ye this token? I must have the king.
This villain sent to take away the king. And when the murder's done, see how he must be handled for his labour, periat iste. Let him have the king. What else? Here is the key. This is the lake. Do as you are commanded by my lord.
I know what I must do. Get you away. Yet be not far off. I shall need your help. See that in the next room I have a fire. And get me a spit. And let it be red hot.
Oh, wow.
Did you anything besides?
What else? A table. And a feather bed.
That's all?
Aye, aye. So when I call you, bring it in.
Fear not thou that.
Here's a light to go into the dungeon.
So, now, must I about this gear? Ne'er was there any so finely handled as this king shall be. For here's a place indeed with all my heart.
Who's there? What is that? Wherefore comest thou?
To comfort you and bring you joyful news.
Small comfort finds poor Edward in thy looks. Villain, I know thou camest to murder me.
To murder you, my most gracious lord, far is it from my heart to do you harm. The queen sent me to see how you were used, for she relents at this misery. And what eyes can refrain from shedding tears to see a king in this most piteous state?
Weepst thou already? List a while to thee, then thy heart. Word is as gurneys is, or Mactrevas, hewn from the Caucasus, yet will it melt ere I've done my tale. This dungeon where they keep me is the sink where in the filth of all the castle falls.
Oh, villain!
And here, in mire and puddle have I stood this 10 days' pace, unless that I should sleep one place continually upon a drum. They give me bread and water, being a king, so that for want of sleep and sustenance my mind's distempered and my body's numbed, and whether I've limbs or no, I know not. Oh, my blood dropped out of my every vein, as doth this water from my tattered robe. Till, Isabel, I looked not thus, when for her sake I ran full tilt at France, and there unhorsed the Duke of Clermont.
Oh, speak no more, my lord. This breaks my heart. Lie on this bed and rest yourself a while.
These looks of dying cannot but not to death. See my tragedy written in thy brows. Yet stay a while. Bear thy bloody hand. Let me see the stroke before it comes. And even then, when I shall lose my life, my mind may be more steadfast on my God.
What means your highness to mistrust me thus?
What means thou to dissemble with me thus?
These hands were never stained with innocent blood, nor shall they now be tainted with the king's.
Forgive my thought for having such a thought. One jewel have I left to receive thou this. Still fear I and know not what's the cause. And there rejoined Shakespeare, I give it thee. Oh, if thou harborest murder in thy heart, let this gift change thy mind and save thy soul. Know that I am a king. Oh, at that name I feel a hell of grief. Where is my crown? God! God! And do I still remain alive?
You're overwatched, my lord. Lie down and rest.
But grief keeps me waking. I should sleep. But not these 10 days have these eyelids closed. Now as I speak they've fallen, yet with fear open again. Oh, wherefore sitst thou there?
If you mistrust me, I'll be gone, my lord.
No. But if thou meanst to murder me, thou wilt return again, and therefore stay.
He sleeps.
Not yet. Stay a while. Something so buzzeth in mine ears, and tell me if I sleep I never wake. This fear that makes me tremble thus, and therefore tell me wherefore art thou come.
To rid thee of thy life. Martimus, come!
I am too weak and fertile to resist. Assist me, sweet God, and receive my soul.
Run for the table!
Oh, spare me! Dispatch me in a thrice!
Lay the table down and stamp on it, but not too hard, lest he lose his body.
Je revois la ville en fête et en délire, suffocant sous le soleil et sous la joie. Et j'entends dans la musique les cris, les rires qui éclatent et rebondissent autour de moi. Et perdu parmi ces chants qui me bousculent, étourdi, désemparé, je reste là. Quand soudain, je me retourne, il se recule, et la foule vient me jeter entre ses bras. Emportés par la foule qui nous traîne, nous entraîne, écrasés l'un contre l'autre, nous ne formons qu'un seul corps. Et le flot sans effort nous gêne l'un et l'autre, nous laissons enivrés, ivrés et heureux. Par la foule qui s'élance et qui danse une folle farandole, nos deux mains restent soudées et parfois soulevées, nos deux corps enlacés s'envolent et retombent tous deux épanouis, enivrés et heureux. La joie, éclaboussée par son sourire, me transperce et rejaillit au fond de moi. Mais soudain, je pousse un cri parmi les rires, quand la foule vient l'arracher d'entre mes bras. Emporté Poussés par la foule, le qui nous traîne, nous entraîne, nous éloigne l'un de l'autre. Je lutte et je me débat. Mais le son de ma voix s'étouffe dans les rires des autres. Et je crie de douleur, de fureur, de rage, et je pleure. Entraînée par la foule qui danse et s'élance, une folle farandole, je suis emportée au loin. Et je crisse mes poings, maudissant la foule qui me vole. L'homme qu'elle m'avait donné, que je vais jamais retrouver.
I fear me that this cry will raise the town, and therefore let us take horse and away.
Tell me, sirs, was it not bravely done?
Excellent. Well, take this for thy reward. Come, let us cast the body in the moat and bear the keys to Mortimer our lord. Away.
It's done, Matrevis, and the murderer dead.
I am a good lord, and I would it were undone.
Matrevis, if thou now growest penitent, I'll be thy ghostly father. Therefore choose whether thou be'st secret in this, or else die by the hand of Mortimer.
Gurney, my lord, is fled, and will, I fear, betray us both. Therefore let me fly.
Fly to the savages.
I humbly thank your honour.
As for myself, I stand as Jove's huge tree, and others are but shrubs compared to me. All tremble at my name, and I fear none. Let's see who dare impeach me for his death.
Mortimer, the king, my son, hath used his father's death, and we have murdered him.
What if we have? The king is yet a child.
Aye, but he tears his hair and wrings his head, and vows to be revenged upon us both. Into the council chamber he has gone to crave the aid of us and succor of his peers. Ay me, see, here he comes, and they with him. No, Mortimer, begins our tragedy.
Fear not, my lord. Know that you are a king.
Villain!
How now, my lord?
Think not that I am frightened with thy words. My father's murdered through thy treachery, and thou shalt die. And on his mournful hearse thy hateful and accursed head shall lie. To witness to the world that by thy means his kingly body was too soon interred.
Ne pleure pas, mon cher fils.
Forbid me not to weep. He was my father. And had you loved him half so well as I, you could not bear his death thus patiently. I fear. Conspire with Mortimer.
Why speak you not unto my lord the king?
Because I think scorn to be accused. Who is the man dares say I murdered him?
Traitor! In me my loving father speaks, and plainly saith, 'twas thou that murderest him.
But has your grace no other proof than this?
Yes, if this be the hand of Mortimer.
False Gurney hath betrayed me, and himself.
I feared as much. Murder cannot be hid.
It is my hand! What gather you by this?
That thither thou didst send a murderer.
What murderer? Bring forth the man I sent!
Ah, Mortimer, thou knowest that he is slain. And so shalt thou be too. Why stays he here? Bring him onto a hurdle! Drag him forth! Hang him, I say, and set his quarters up! But bring his head back presently to me.
Pour l'amour de moi, mon fils chéri, épargnez Mortimer.
Madame, entreat not! I will rather die than sue for life unto a paltry boy.
Hence with the traitor! With the murderer!
Base fortune. Now I see that in thy wheel there is a point to which when men aspire, they tumble headlong down. That point I touched, and seeing there was no place to mount up higher, why should I grieve at my declining fall? Farewell, fair queen. Weep not for Mortimer, that scorns the world, and as a traveller goes to discover countries yet unknown.
What? Suffer you the traitor to delay?
Quant à moi que tu as reçu la vie, ne fais point couler le sang du noble Mortimer.
This argues that you spilled my father's blood. Else would you not entreat for Mortimer?
Moi? Faire couler son sang? Non!
I, Adam, you. For so the rumour runs.
Cette rumeur est mensongère. C'est en raison de mon amour pour toi qu'on a monté cette machination contre la pauvre Isabelle.
I do not think her somewhat natural.
My lord, I fear me it will prove too true.
Mother, you are suspected of his death. And therefore, we commit to the tower till further trial may be made thereof. Guilty, though I be your son. Think not to find me slack or pitiful.
Alors, autant me tuer tout de suite, car j'ai déjà vécu trop longtemps. Si mon propre fils songe à abréger mes jours.
Away with her! Or else enforce these tears. And I shall pity her if she speak again.
Me priveras-t-on du deuil de mon bien-aimé? Me démandera-t-on de l'accompagner avec le cortège jusqu'au compte tambour?
Thus, madam, it is the king's will you shall hence.
He hath forgotten me, stay! I am his mother!
That boots not, therefore, gentle madam, go.
Alors viens, doucement, et délivre-moi de cette souffrance.
My lord, here is the head of Mortimer.
Go fetch my father's hearse where it shall lie, and bring me my funeral robes. Accursed head! Could I have ruled thee then as I do now, thou hadst not hatched this monstrous treachery! Here comes the hearse. Help me to mourn, my lords! Sweet father, hereunto thy murdered ghost I offer up this wicked traitor's head. And let these tears distilling from mine eyes be witness of my grief and innocency.
Congratulations, one and all. Come on back out here. Take a bow. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. The beautiful cast. Wow, sorry. I'm a little transported to another place. For those watching around the world and at home, thank you for joining us. And now please allow me to introduce you to the cast and crew of Edward II, starting with our associate producer, Hesna Haider.
Hi, I'm Hesna Haider, and I'm a writer based in London.
And our associate director, Katie Stimpson.
Hi, I'm Katie Stimpson. I'm an actor based in Northern California.
And our composer, Shona Struthers.
Hi, I'm Shona Struthers. I am a performer and a sound designer from the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations.
And our movement director, Victoria Raysuk. Is Victoria here? Nope, I guess she wasn't able to join us. Our intimacy choreographer, Ella Mock. Technical support for the performance, Stephanie Crugnola. Our Month of Marlowe curator, Emily Ingram.
Good evening. My name is Emily. I'm a writer and director in Edinburgh, in the UK.
And TSMGO lead producer, Matthew Rhodes.
Hi, I'm Matthew.
Yay.
Hi, I'm Matthew Rhodes. I'm an emerging theater artist, also on unceded Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh territory.
A special thanks to our artistic director, Rob Miles. I'm going to grab my lamp like Spencer. Our executive producer, Sarah Peachy, and Hugo Doyon for helping with the French translation. And now for our cast, which I don't have an adjective to describe. You are just so brilliant. As Edward II, Zach Livingston.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zach Livingston, and I am a long-haired man in a garage. Also, I'm a professional actor based in Los Angeles. It's been an honor and a privilege. I can't thank you all enough.
As Mortimer, Harry Boyd.
Hello, I'm Harry Boyd. I'm a professional actor from London in the UK. It's been an utter joy.
As La Reine Isabella, Alexandra, Bandean.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Bandean, and I'm a Romanian artist based on unceded territory of the Mohawk Nation in Montreal, Canada. And it was a pleasure to be here with you. Everybody's so talented. Oh my God.
As the Earl of Kent, Alex Andlau.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Andlau, and I'm an actor and special educational needs teacher from Middlesbrough, and I am definitely not in my pajamas.
As Prince Edward and King Edward III, Hector Bateman-Harden.
Hey, my name is Hector Bateman-Harden. I'm 11 years old and a professional actor based in Surrey, UK. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. It's incredible.
Thank you for being a genius. As Pierre de Gaveston, Alexis, Danan.
Bonsoir tout le monde. My name is Alexis Danan. I'm a French actor based in London. Never really lost in translation, so thank you all for your amazing job.
As the Earl of Lancaster, Jeff King.
Hello, I'm Jeff King. I'm an actor and singer based in Kent.
As Spencer, Molly Keogh.
Hiya, my name is Molly Keogh. I'm an actor and writer, and I'm based in the UK. Thank you for watching. It was so much fun, so thank you.
As the Earl of Warwick and Gurney, Laurent Winkler.
Hi, I'm Laurent Winkler. I'm a French actor, but I'm based in Budapest, Hungary.
As Baldock and the Bishop of Coventry, Nayia Anastasiadou.
Hello, I'm Nayia Anastasiadou. I'm a Cypriot actress based in Cyprus.
As Lady Margaret and Matrevis, Charlotte McEvoy.
Hello, I'm Charlotte McEvoy. I'm an actress based in Bristol in the UK.
As Mortimer Elder and the Earl of Leicester, Angela Bow.
Hi there, I'm a professional actress and theatre producer based in the UK, and the whole week has been an absolute joy, so thank you guys.
As the Earl of Pembroke, Eduardo J. Pérez-Torres.
Hello, I'm Eduardo Pérez-Torres. I'm a neuroscientist and amateur actor currently in New York City.
As the Earl of Arundel, Soumya Mishra.
Hello, everyone. I am Soumya. I am a social scientist and an amateur actor based in India.
As Sergeant Eno, Alexia Moshano.
Hi, my name is Alexia Moshano. I'm an Argentinian actress and I live in Buenos Aires, based in Buenos Aires.
As the Bishop of Canterbury, Jacqueline Hume, like Zoom.
Hi, everyone. Bonjour, salut. I'm Jacqueline Hume, and I'm an actor based in the Washington, D.C. area.
As Lightborn and others, Lindsay Beecham.
I'm Lindsay Beecham. I'm an actor. I'm based in the UK. And thank you to everybody. It was so fantastic. Thank you.
As the Herald and our swing, Nathan Everett Patterson.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nathan Everett Patterson. I'm an actor from Dublin, Ireland, currently living in Dublin, Ireland. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
And last, but absolutely not least, as Edith Piaf and our swing, Sarah Freya.
Bonjour tout le monde. Hello, I'm Sarah Freya. I'm an actress, writer, and singer in Toronto. And contrary to popular belief, I do actually have eyebrows. So there's that.
Merci, Sarah. We've only got a couple of minutes for a Q&A, so get your questions in for tonight's cast or for me or for the crew via the live chat. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed the show, which I hope you have, please tell your friends and family to sign up to the Patreon so that they can chat as well. Okay, so we have a question coming in. The question is for Kevin, for me. And I didn't introduce myself, I guess. I'm Kevin V. Smith, and I'm a professional actor and director based in Chicago. So a question for me, which scene did you find the most challenging to direct? It was all challenging, actually. That's a really hard question. I think just because of the pace, but luckily I had Katie Stimpson, the associate director, with me the whole way, and we tried to just be really prepared when we came into rehearsal but then these actors are just rock stars, because I would just give them, we had 15 minutes per page to rehearse. So it was the tempo that was the hardest, to be honest, to direct. There are also two scenes that are really long. Act 1, Scene 4, and Act 2, Scene 2 are together make up a quarter of the play. So that was interesting and a challenge, but it was all very high intensity, I would say. Okay, question for Kevin and or for Alexis. In the opening scenes, was the choice of a Schopenhauer book random or a deliberate idea? Alexis, I'm going to pass that over to you.
Hey, yeah, that was random, but I mean, I knew that Kevin wanted me to have 3 books, and right before the show, I went to watch my library, and I saw this. Where is it now? It's on the floor somewhere. I saw the cover, and it says, I read it a long time ago. It says The Art of Being Happy by Schopenhauer, L'Art d'être heureux in French. And I was like, well, Gaveston would like that. So I just grabbed it. And I'm going to read it now. So it was random, but not that random, actually.
Merci, Alexis. Do we have any more questions, Emily?
We have a question for Zach. Zach, how did you decide to pace your performance? And the audience member who's asking says that they think you gave a defining performance for a generation, and I can't agree more.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. Pacing. Kevin and Katie really gave me a lot of backbone and structure on which to hang the performance. And I find that for pacing, it's one of the last things I think about, because I think if you take care of everything else, the pacing will generally take care of itself. So I think credit to direction for sure, credit to Marlowe for writing a play that moves the way that it does. And as ever with me, as soon as I release and let go and let the play drive and go with that and just have the experiences as they happen in sequence, it all just if we'll let the chips fall where they may. That's generally my approach, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
Well, beautiful, beautiful work tonight, Zach. Wow, it's absolutely stunning. Okay, so here we have a question. Okay, referring to Edmund as male while dressed as female, I found very interesting. And what discussion was there about this? And huge congrats all. There was no discussion. So the question is that we kept the pronouns the same, but we changed the gender presentation of some of the characters. We didn't have any discussion about that, did we, Alex?
I think I said to you, am I doing it as a man or a woman? You just said whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what you got.
Yeah. I think that, there was decisions were made very specifically about who would be a woman and who would be a man. And I think that, so when I was talking with the cast, I would just say, okay, this is, like the Earl of Leicester is a woman, the Bishop of Winchester is a man, or the guard is a man, and Sir Jean Hainaut is a woman. It was just decisions that I made while I was conceptualizing it, and we never spent any time talking about or thinking about even changing the references in the text. Okay, let's see. Why a garage is a question. Zach, why a garage?
I don't know, Kevin. Why a garage?
Yeah, good question.
It's the ditch digging, right? That's where I was going to go with that.
Well, yeah. So a couple of things. When I first conceptualized this, and I wanted to cast Zach, I thought that we'd stage it all in the bathroom, because I had the idea about the tub and she should be in the tub and Edith Piaf should come in and all of that. And so we were in conversation about that, but then just through a lot of conversation with the team and then with Zach, it was just too hard to do it in the bathroom. So we decided to pre-record all of that. And then another thing about Zach, because Zach and I have known each other for a long time. And one reason why I just had to have Zach play this role is because reading the biography by Catherine Warner, which if you're interested in Edward II, go search out the works of Catherine Warner. She is the foremost scholar on the topic and has written biographies of Edward and Queen Isabella and even the nieces. I think like Lady Margaret, she wrote a biography of the nieces of Edward II as well. But in her book, I thought it was very interesting that Edward really enjoyed being outside, working with his hands. He was often digging ditches and building things and like going fishing, and everyone had a lot of disdain for him for that because they thought it was really beneath him. But he would always hang out with, the common folk, I guess, as we can say. And so Zach is a person who's very like hands-on. He's always working in his garage. He fixes up old cars or like classic cars, and he's just like a mechanic in that way. And so that was one thing I immediately associated between Edward and Zach. And
my actual workbench and my actual rusty car parts are actually up here.
So I guess, the garage became the solution. And I think I'd had your garage kind of in my mind just from seeing it on Instagram and stuff. But it became the solution for the bathroom, and it worked really beautifully. But it was important for me that, you know, we had these plain minimalist backgrounds, but that when Edward was in captivity, or when he was being held captive, that he had moved into a different setting. What does Isabella mean when she says, oh no, that's Edith Piaf. I can't go on. J'en peux plus at the piano. Sarah, do you want to talk about that? What does she mean when she says that?
So when we discussed the play and how it connected to the song, and we were talking a lot about the parallels between Edith's life and like King Edward's life, and we were saying part of that heartbreak that comes after some like devastating experiences, especially those associated with heartbreak in specific. And we were saying there is that sense of something being broken and always being there. Kind of like if you have an eggshell and you break it, it always remains broken. Even if you glue the pieces back together, you always have those cracks. And I think that J'en peux plus kind of shows a moment that the eggshell, or if you want to say like a porcelain, finally breaks again and everything kind of spills out. And she's reliving that heartbreak. And again, I think that parallels what happens in the play. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse.
It's beautiful, Sarah. Thank you. Final question. Okay, we have time for one more. For Hector. Yeah.
We've got a final question for Hector. That's right. We've an audience member asks, Hector, did you enjoy getting to the end of the play not only alive but also in control?
I'm not sure about control, but I think it was really sad what he had to go through. And when I dropped the teddy, it was him kind of accepting that he had to grow up. But yeah, he was a really fun and interesting character to play. Yeah, in a horrible situation as well.
And you did it beautifully, Hector. And it was one of the most beautiful performances I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you.
And there are already some other ones that would be on that list in this show because all of you are just so fabulous. But Hector, you amaze me. You're so talented. All right. So I think that's all the time that we have. I'm going to pass it over now to Emily Ingram.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And thank you to the cast and crew who've made this production happen. And special thanks as well to Dr. Harry McCarthy for his fantastic insights into the world of Marlowe and Edward II. Groundlings, the incredible show you've watched tonight is the first performance of the Show Must Go Online's Month of Marlowe Festival. We'll be bringing a play or an event based on the work of Christopher Marlowe to your screens every Wednesday until the end of June. Next week, Show Must Go Online alumni Amelia Parion directs an exciting take on Dido, Queen of Carthage, followed the week after by Dr. Faustus, directed by Fergus Rattigan and me. And then, on the final Wednesday of June, creators from across the globe will present the Marlowe Lives Cabaret, which is a variety night which will showcase Marlowe's lesser-known works and poems, and is sure to be a fascinating event. Follow us on social media to discover more, and be sure to scribble down these wonderful shows into your diaries because you will not want to miss them. That's all from me, folks. Kevin, please let me give you my congratulations for a brilliant show, and let me also give the floor back to you to say good night to all our groundlings.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight and taking a little piece of all of our hearts with you. And thank you so much and good night. Bonsoir. Au revoir. Merci.